What is up, everyone? Back with another episode of the Backlog Podcast. This episode is going to be about Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. We just got back from the theaters. Yes, sir. We're tapped in.
Appropriate.
It is currently 2:10 in the morning. We just got back from the theaters. we're locked in, though. We're going to get to the pod. Don't worry. We've been on a slight hiatus just because I've been on vacation. You're going on vacation soon. So
we're treating ourselves. If you haven't taken a vacation recently, do it.
You should.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah. Do it. Tell us how it goes.
This is the summer vacations for sure.
Indeed.
But back to the topic at hand. We are talking about Brand New Day today. So we'll do a quick no spoiler section.
Exactly.
Just to give our quick opinions on the film, and then we'll get into spoilers in about, I'd say, 10, 20 minutes. We'll see. So, yeah, go ahead. What's your opinion on the film after watching it?
Overall, honestly, yeah, I'd give it at least like an 8, maybe probably 9 out of 10, honestly. Okay. Great film, of course. I feel like, honestly, I do think it's what we needed right now, as far as, like, Spider-Man and Marvel really at large goes. We've all been wondering, have they fallen off? Should we keep watching their movies? And it's honestly, I feel like it's been interesting because it's like there's been good ones and there's been mediocre ones, and then there's like been the kind of like, all right, why am I here? But this one felt definitively like, all right, good, this is where we should be going. But yeah, I feel like it was interesting, kind of like a fluctuation we were getting up to this point of like movies that were reassuring and then very much not.
Yeah. We've been eating good this year with films.
No, yeah,
I'm
this
not gonna
year
lie.
just good.
The
movies
Big 2-6 is the year of films.
Pretty great, man.
My goodness.
And honestly, not only do I think that this one here was good, but I feel like even in the MCU's prime, like, a lot of the kind of common criticisms that were thrown at it are actually kind of, I don't know, I feel like this movie, not like it's like a response to them per se, but it doesn't fall into a lot of those same pitfalls.
Yeah, it felt a lot, there was a lot differentiating this film from the rest of the MCU films and the rest of the Spider-Man films.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It didn't really have the same structure as a lot of the other films.
Exactly.
Which I think works both ways. It's a double-edged sword, you know what I mean? Because of that, they had to be a lot more careful with pacing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think in this film it worked, but this is not the structure that you can go with for every film going forward.
Oh, absolutely, of
course. This works for a Spider-Man film because there's been Spider-Man films before this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Tom Holland is now established as the MCU Spider-Man. He's already gotten a couple movies. He's been around, and so this is a film you can kind of do to deepen the characters. I think this is a very character-based film.
Yeah, this one's pretty good for deepening all.
There's a lot of characters in this film, and they really do. They take their time developing the characters.
Yeah, I'd say no one gets the shaft here. Like even the characters who really are just kind of side characters in this actually get some pretty good stuff going for them. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. What do you think the weakest parts of this film are?
The weakest parts, I'd say, and honestly, they're really not that bad. At least not to me. I'd say the weakest parts were, I'd say a couple of CGI moments where like Spidey, Tom, whatever, his movements are a little bit like, okay, like it kind of looks a little bit on stringsy, but I'd say it's still not remotely as bad as many other movies. Like for example,
of course,
I swear I'm not just here to take pot shots, but like Supergirl kind of had that, but it was much worse.
Where
there's some moments here where it's like, it's not so much like, it's kind of because like he's on strings and whatnot, but it's not that it looks like he's on strings. It's more so that it looks like he got way more momentum or height off of a certain movement than it's like he kind of would have, just off of looking at a guy his size, go jumping or doing something.
Yes.
And then other than that, I'd say there were probably a couple of like minor things that just kind of, and really, they're not exactly the movie's fault. It's kind of like continuity things, like things that have already been established and made to be the case up till now, and like kind of thinking about them, like it's not a plot hole, because it's not part of this movie's plot, but it's kind of an established thing that it doesn't make too much sense when you think on it too long, but like it's already kind of been set in stone, so the movie's got to keep rolling with that.
Yeah.
But for everything that the movie's doing internally for itself, all of that plot stuff, everything there works pretty solidly, actually.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I think for this film, I'm actually a little lower on this film than you are.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm giving this film a 7.5 out of 10. It's not a bad film by any means. I'd say an average film is a 5. So don't I have a pretty harsh scale when it comes to grading films, and I think I'd give this a 7.5. It is a firmly above average film. However, there are issues with the film. We'll get into that in the spoiler section and stuff like that. But for the most part, film is very entertaining. It is a more.
Oh, it's real fun.
Yeah, for sure. It's more grounded. It's more emotional. It's not as much for spectacle, which I like, especially for what they're trying to do with Spider-Man now. You know what I mean?
And for
After
everybody
all
who's
this, we
exactly.
got the spectacle in No Way Home. We're moving towards Brand New Day, and we're trying to do.
It's a brand new day.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to do more. Peter
Classic
Parker
Spider-Man
saving
stuff.
his city. You know what I mean? And I think that the villain doesn't work very well in this film for what they're trying to do. With that being said, right? Like,
now that's one place
with
I
it
will
being
say they
a
fell
more
into
grounded
a kind of
film,
familiar pitfall.
They really should have picked a different villain, I think, or just a different premise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really doesn't work in this film, I think, like I asked you before, what's the weakest part of this film? I think the weakest part of this film was the villain. I think this villain could have been a little more. I don't know, because like you don't want to do like without giving anything away, right? Like you don't want to do like villains that have already been done, obviously, right? You want to pick something new, and this was very much a new thing, right? This is a very new concept.
I think it was actually pretty cool and kind of original how that was.
Yes,
at least original to the MCU. How that was done there.
But
sort of.
And like I get that like Spider-Man is like a really good foil for this villain because of
both his own history and their personalities.
Yes,
on the
exactly.
level.
Yes, because of certain abilities that he has, he's a foil.
That too.
So I get it, but it I don't know. I think they.
You think like is that more in the power sense or just because of like? I guess what I'm saying is you're pointing out how his abilities work as a good foil. Are you saying there's also problems in that matchup in terms of powers or just in terms of characters?
It's not. I don't think it's the matchup or the characters. It is simply the premise of the film with what they were clearly trying to go for with this film. They were trying to go with a more grounded, emotional type story, and this villain.
You don't think they work for it?
I don't think they work as well as other villains could have worked.
The other villains that we were conjecturing.
Yes. I almost think if they just would have done a more predictable villain, it would have worked a little better. But anyway.
See, I think a more predictable villain, probably like some of those kind of little nitpickable inconsistencies I pointed out, probably could have been resolved. But I feel like for what this movie kind of is doing for the characters in it, I think the villain they chose is probably the better choice. But we'll kind of hash that out more in the
I think because this villain is who they are, the fight scenes are weaker as well.
That's a very valid point.
You know what I mean? Like it just could have been more impactful if it was more
I think the villain made for great action scenes.
Yes,
but not great fight scenes.
Exactly.
Like because there's some really cool and kind of dynamic stuff happening.
Yes.
But every hero villain movie kind of ends with them, in a room together. Somebody's got to win, someone's got to lose, and you don't get the same kind of fight you would get if, for example, it was
which does a good job of subverting expectations.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's interesting things that even with the villain that they did choose, I think there's more interesting things they could have done with this villain that could have challenged Spider-Man, if that makes sense.
I get you.
Because of the premise, like if you're gonna do it, lean into it heavy. You know what I mean? And they did. Don't get me wrong, like they did. But there's some more they could have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like this is also like
as far as like tangibility, there were some things they kind of could have done for that final confrontation moment.
Yes, we're kind of beating around the bush at this point, so I think we're gonna go ahead and get into spoilers. It's been about 10 minutes. We're just yapping. So far, just before the spoiler section, I give this film a 7.5 out of 10. You said you give it a.
I'll give it like an 8.5.
8.5. Okay, I think it's very fair for what this film is. I think that this is a good spot in the MCU to do this type of film.
Absolutely.
I think going forward, if Marvel sticks to more grounded, more emotional style films, I think they will be getting back on track.
Yeah,
and I think they can go for spectacle later.
Build up to that
but the problem is the next film's Doomsday.
Exactly. So that's
so
not
it's
really
like
happening.
You know what I mean. Like we I don't want to get to like I'm afraid that Marvel is like. Because this is a perfect, after kind of some weak points, you get back into the characters, which is what made Marvel great in the first place, and then you go for spectacle after.
Exactly.
They literally did a one character film and then right back to spectacle.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you
got
to slow down a little bit.
The greatest problem with the MCU ever since Endgame ended has been that, look at how it started. We had Iron Man, then Cap, then Thor, then Avengers. It was pretty cool. It was a nice little build-up. You even kind of get escalating stakes from, Iron Man and just, oh, this bad dude's going to take over your company and keep making weapons, to Cap, the Nazis are going to have a space laser, and then to Thor, like, Loki's going to take over Asgard and be a threat to the universe. You kind of get a slow escalation towards Avengers, which, yeah, sure, Earth is, all this at stake there, but it's still kind of like big because Loki's coming back from Thor, and we know that's going to just have bigger ramifications down the line. You get Thanos. Point being, where the MCU made their mistake was that they wanted to keep things going, but I think what would have just worked would be a kind of reset. Just all right,
they needed a reset.
We did a big boom. Now we're gonna start back small and build back up again.
Yeah, they really failed to do that, and I think part of that was Kang not really being a part of the picture. I think they were trying to do a reset with Kang, and it kind of fell off, and then they had to just do something. I think a really big part of it
was them kind of floundering around, never really solidifying behind one main character again.
Yes,
I think, and I still don't see them picking.
I think Spider-Man can be that.
I think absolutely, and I mean,
if Tom Holland wants to be Spider-Man for very much longer, because it's been 10 years,
and he's already gone on record saying, he didn't exactly want to be Spider-Man forever.
Yes.
But not to mention,
and the fact that this has been our Spider-Man for 10 years is crazy.
Yeah, he's got the longest.
Because he still feels kind of new. I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Oh no, he doesn't feel.
Not
new
anymore.
To me now.
I think this film is kind of solidifying him as like not the new Spider-Man anymore.
I feel
but
I feel like
he was so early in his hero's journey for so long.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like by the end of Far From Home for me, he was kind of solidified.
Okay.
Like going into No Way Home, it's like.
But even with that being said, by the time No Way Home came out, right? He was still considered to be like the new Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like he was like the young guy or whatever. And it's
but to me that's by that point anyway. I feel like it was
and
just
at that point,
he's written to be
he had already been
one.
Spider-Man for 7 years.
Exactly. I feel like I kind of saw it that way where maybe a lot of people didn't, but I'm like, he's been Spider-Man for 7 years and everything's been great.
Yeah,
so by now,
he was still low bro. He was still low bro though. I can't lie. In that movie, he was still low bro. And the film was treating him like he was still low bro.
Yeah.
He knew the least. He was the least experienced at that point still.
But that's because his character is literally just written to be a younger kind of.
And I think that has been kind of the issue.
Green.
I think that's kind of be the issue. I think this film changes that. This is the point where Spider-Man is now going into him being his full potential Spider-Man. And I think we expected that. I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Last pod we talked about the three Spider-Mans fighting.
Which, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say, even at the start of this movie, I'm standing on it. He does things that Tobey Maguire and probably even Andrew just
You did mention that mid-film, I remember. Yeah. By the end of this film, he noticed. By the end of this film, he noticed both of them.
He's absolutely,
he noticed both of them. I can't lie. He's clearing them,
Yeah. He's pretty great.
Yes, but with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into spoilers.
Yep. So you have been warned.
Yes.
See the movie before you watch the rest of it.
Yeah, we're dropping this on release day, so
this is release day. We just got back from the theater.
Yeah, exactly. So, be warned. But
it's only the best for the backlog.
Go watch the film. I encourage you. It is a film worth watching.
Great one.
I gave it a 7.5, but that still means it is a film worth watching. I think Rotten Tomatoes is if I had to predict, it's going to be around 85% for Rotten Tomatoes. I'd say.
If they're smart.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, run the predictions. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, we're getting to spoilers now and talk about the actual film. Yep, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're getting into spoilers.
All right.
So
the part where Peter dies.
Looking at no. But honestly, we'll get to that later. But yeah. So the film starts out. How does the film start out? I'm gonna let you
man. So we start off. I'm actually trying to remember the very first thing we see of Peter. If I'm not mistaken,
he's talking about how he lost MJ.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, he's immediatally reading his letter. Yeah, yes. He is. So he's immediately reading his letter, and you kind of get in a montage of him like Spider-Maning and not so Petering, but being Peter. Kind of just walking around being a little bit sad, seeing MJ. Oh man, it's actually kind of like a little heart wrenching because he basically the movie has cut to the end of their college years. So like, by this point, he has missed all of that. So it's been years. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna pick up like with them entering into college, maybe freshman or sophomore year. No, college is over for Ned and MJ. Peter has missed the entirety of that experience.
Yeah. And it is like a montage through the years.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been kind of sadly living it vicariously.
He's fully Spider-Man this whole time.
Yeah, he's
given up
Peter
Parker entirely.
And I gotta give it, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he is.
And
he's losing himself in it though, man.
Exactly.
You could tell like in the montage you see him come back bruised, tired. He's kind of given up on the whole concept of Peter Parker because he lost MJ, and that was the only thing he really wanted to be Peter
lost
Parker
everything that tethered him to being Peter. Like
exactly.
Now Peter is literally just the guy who gets the bills paid and crap like that.
Yeah. So he's got Batman syndrome at this point, basically.
Yeah, Batman syndrome, pretty bad.
He's literally just
like he's still walking
mask.
around, and he seems like he's well off as Peter, but it's like there's no actual substance to his life. He goes home, and then he looks to when he's going to be Spider-Man again.
Yep. And he brings flowers to Aunt May's grave routinely. I think every day almost. Like
basically,
it's very very often. He goes and talks to her, and I mean, because he's really got nothing left.
It gets to the point. And this isn't a bad thing at all, but I see him grab some flowers again because, like, for half the scenes in this movie, he's carrying flowers for one reason or another.
Yeah.
So I was literally like, he carries flowers as often as Odysseus gets chased off an island in the Odyssey.
Yeah. If he's leaving a store, he's taking flowers with him.
He's taking flowers. I don't think he walks into a store and he can't leave without flowers.
Yeah. But
I like that for him.
so he's having trouble while he's fighting these villains, right? He's getting headaches a lot. He's getting pain in his wrists, and we're like, at first we kind of think it's just wearing on him a little bit, but later in the film we kind of see that it's something else.
I immediately jumped to a conclusion.
Yeah. Well, it's because we saw the trailers.
Yeah,
but if you didn't see the trailers, then you're kind of like, all right, buddy, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, Spider-Man's not supposed to be hurt for this long.
Yeah,
he's getting these headaches. It's like, what's up with the headaches?
Yeah.
And so we'll continue with the film progression.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to mention is he's kind of not even living it vicariously, but he's just he I don't know, the most he gets of his college experience is just he keeps watching Ned's Instagram story and him going on lives and stuff like that, and he's relaying these wonderful memories that him and MJ are having, and it's just like
that pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie, I would have blocked him. I can't lie. I'm blocking him. I can't, bro. I'm not gonna sit there and watch that. I get that he wants to keep up with them, but it's like, brother, that is actual just torture. I don't know. That you're just literally just like,
imagine, because it's like that's your best friend.
Yeah, he's literally just talking about all the moments that you genuinely missed.
Exactly, in your life for the last 4 or 5 whatever years, it's just been a shell. Like it's been nothing but your work or whatever. Like.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
It's rough. Being Spider-Man is more than just work, but it's definitely work. I mean, you fight people for your life every day, so it's it's definitely, you'd rather have some of those memories, man.
Yep. So the montage kind of ends, and we kind of get thrown into where he is now. And what's happening now is there's a stolen tank. Somebody
that one
stole
actually
a
got
tank.
me. Someone straight up steals a tank because I guess they forgot to leave the lock on or something.
Yep.
But and that is tearing through New York. Specifically, actually, one street that they tear through is one that there's this tour guide, and someone's like, "Oh, this very street. It may not look it now, but it was completely destroyed in the Battle of New York." And then the tank rolls through and destroys it again.
It's pretty wicked. I can't lie.
And actually, something else I noticed that's really cool is throughout this whole movie, I feel like the people behind this movie, which we know them, but I feel like the team on this movie, they very much took a lot of cues from the Insomniac Spider-Man games.
Yes, they did. They really did. You can tell a lot of the scenes are look like they're from a game.
Yeah, it's it
literally
he's
looks like
Insomniac
it's from. Yes, he
Spider-Man.
has. He has.
Especially the way he goes after this tank. It's literally if you guys have played the Spider-Man games,
beat
any
for
of those
beat.
missions where you got to chase a vehicle, he's doing all that, and it's sweet. It's honestly really great.
Yeah, and I like that. I think Insomniac Spider-Man is a great representation of how Spider-Man is as a character, and how he fights and everything like that. And they did a really good job. Even the rooftop scene, literally beat for beat. You know what I mean?
Oh absolutely.
Yeah, there was a rooftop scene where he clears a bunch of goons off a roof, and he literally is fighting exactly like
he
on
does that
Insomniac
exact
Spider-Man.
thing. I know we've all done it. If you're playing a Spider-Man Insomniac game, you knock someone flying off
the
roof, and somehow he just throws an impossible web to catch them before they fall. He does that to a couple of guys.
Well, one guy just stumbles backwards while shooting at him. What was that play?
That guy, I have no idea what he was cooking, but
Peter did not push him at all.
Literally.
He generally is dual wielding Glocks and moving backwards and falls off a roof. What are you doing, buddy?
His friends,
what was the
and
plan?
He gets so scared, he just starts backpedaling and shooting, and he falls off the roof. So Spidey shoots him a web to keep him from killing himself.
Yeah, that was actually no. He grabs him and he does the comic book pose.
You're right. Yeah, actually, he jumps down and grabs that guy and does the iconic panel where he's got the guy under his arm. I probably sound terrible, but he's got the guy under his arm and he's got the web out swinging. It's really cool.
Yeah. So you could tell they were paying homage to the comics and to all the other versions. They were taking kind of the best of all the Spider-Man versions.
Exactly. I saw it,
and I think they did a really good job
to
with that.
everything, especially because some of the specific poses or shots they do for him, and then even this kind of one dive maneuver he does. I'm I even see some Spider-Verse Miles Morales in there.
Yep. A little bit Toby in there.
Oh yeah,
sure.
absolutely some Toby in there. They even they nabbed Andrew's kind of close up face shot
Dude,
as
yeah,
he's swinging.
those shots were so cool.
Sweet.
When they're in the mask, dude, that was so
yes,
tough.
that one was sweet.
Yep.
Like I said with Miles, it was like a moment where he's sitting on a beam upside down, as we know him and Gwen did that in Across the Spider-Verse, and the city's upside down above him, which looked beautiful in live action. I didn't think that could look that good.
A lot of the shots in this movie are beautiful.
Excellent shots. Like this. Honestly, I think this might have like better cinematography than we've seen.
Yes.
Not just in the Spider-Man movies, but kind of in the MCU for a while.
I think the Amazing Spider-Man series had better cinematography.
Oh yeah,
especially while swinging. But
absolutely.
It's second.
Yeah, I'm saying like for the MCU.
Yeah, not a far second either.
Exactly.
It's a close second.
But yeah, we get one of those, and then there's this other cool moment where he dives off a building. He does a lot of diving off of buildings, which is very, again, Miles to me.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
If I was Spider-Man, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Brother, if I was going through the stuff he was going through, I ain't catching myself with some of those.
I can't lie. Some of those dives, I definitely think about it. Like, I could just stop suffering right here.
No. I'm trolling. But still, bro, he's going through it in this film, buddy.
He is absolutely going through it. Like, there's parts where I just stop and I'm like, dude.
Yeah. But another thing I really liked is like how they. With his new suit, you can see his eyes through the white film.
Yes,
that's really cool.
Yeah, that was actually a really.
They did
nice
a really
touch.
good job of portraying his emotions through that alone, without overly relying on his eyes moving. You know what I mean? And I think they did they disable that function once he talked to MJ about it messing with his making his thing overheat.
I actually didn't.
I think they disabled that function, which is why it didn't move anymore. Yeah,
that's actually really cool. That's a really nice touch they did there, and
I don't hate it.
I kind of like it. Yeah, I was going to say, because I feel like this movie, and I knew this was obvious what they were doing, but I think they did it even more than I thought, was like kind of moving him towards like the classic Spider-Man. They really did hear that a lot of people, that's what they wanted.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. I was not unhappy with how it was at all.
I wasn't either, but I get why some people didn't want him to be like a mini Iron Man, so sure. But I
thought those claims were bogus.
This suit is not my favorite.
Really? I like the suit.
It looks I get that it's supposed to, but it looks very homemade, very like, it's very vibrant as well.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't hate, but I like. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm a diehard lover of like the like TASM fits, bro. Especially TASM 1. I loved that fit. I don't know why everyone hated that fit so much, but like I love the more tactile, more like.
I'm neutral on it. I see the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
But for a homemade Spider-Man fit, I think that's pretty perfect.
Yes. It was good for what it was. I'm not saying it was a bad suit, but I still like the TASM better. And I like the metallic eyes. I love the metallic eyes.
Metallic
dude.
eyes are just cool.
I don't know. I just
like
love
that's
those,
one trait from that suit. I'm like, they could absolutely. Yeah,
they could have kept that, but it's fine.
The brand new day suit, I actually loved it. Honestly, more than I thought I would. Because like in the No Way Home kind of end scene, it's like, I don't know. I felt like it was maybe a bit more vibrant there, to the point it might have been like almost reflective or something, maybe a bit much, and also a bit simple, because I love Spider-Man's design, but I don't know. I've never understood all the clamor for the classic suit, because it's like, to me, every other variation of the suit they come out with looks cooler.
I agree.
Insomniac suit looks cooler.
Yes.
The Stark suits, I don't care. They look cooler. Fight with your mom.
Yep.
Like, like the classic suit, yes, it's classic, but it's like, it's kind of the same way I felt about like Superman or Batman with the trunks on the outside. It's like, there's reasons we've made new designs since. It's okay to change, and also like the first design is not the best.
I also agree with that strongly. But with that being said, not a bad suit. I think my favorite part of this suit is the black metallic webbing. Tough. That was tough.
I
love that.
I think one of my favorites. Actually,
and the minimalist symbol was nice too.
Yeah,
I
really love the emblem on this.
Yeah, it's really nice. I agree. Yes. On the front and the back, I didn't really like the metallic blue that they used. I kind of wish it was more of a flat blue, but it's fine. It was good.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the metallic on it. I didn't think I was gonna when I saw it in No Way Home.
Yeah.
But I really liked how the metallic came out here.
I think my favorite Tom Holland suit was the one that Tony made him first.
Oh yeah, the very first Stark suit.
The black and the red is so clean.
Oh no, that was the one he made himself. Yeah, in Far From Home.
No, in Homecoming.
Homecoming? I thought his first suit was red and blue still.
It was red and blue still, but it had the black, the black cuts.
Yeah, I always love those accents.
Yeah, the one in the flashback that he got.
Yeah, I love
that suit so much.
My favorite suit from all of this, it still might be the integrated suit. I just love that. Like, it very much, it gives it its the final boss suit.
Yeah,
it's his spider suit with a golden large spider emblem. Like, that's so cool to me.
I disagree, but I respect your take. I respect your take, though. I do respect your take.
That feels like you know how we all were happy to see the Iron Spider, and then it kind of overstayed its welcome? The integrated suit felt like them kind of doing that right, where it's like, all right, you're only going to wear this one time, because this suit is too cool to just go wearing around.
Yeah,
You're gonna wear it, and it's gonna be great. And then you can take it off or whatever.
Yeah.
And actually, even though obviously you can't wear it around with because it didn't really come with a mask. Still like that part too. It was. I just thought it was really cool.
I think with the amount of tech expertise he has at this point, I think a suit more akin to the advanced suit from the Insomniac series would have been more appropriate.
I gotta agree with that
because the way his web shooters work now, you'd think he'd have some belt with more fluid.
His web shooters are like way better than they've ever been in the MCU so far.
But he's just pulling webs out of his. Like, you know what I mean? Like he like where's your belt, pal? You know what I mean? Like you're using web shooters. You should have more webs on you somewhere, but he doesn't. I get it. I don't know. It's fine. But like, it's a small gripe, but it is like I feel like at this point he's not at the beginning of the film. He's not using his organic webbing. So it's like you should have tech involved in your suit in some way, and like even
I'll grant that like the web shooters were a bit larger than the ones he had in the Stark Tech suits, which at first I thought was.
But he's got the AI in this suit, so it's like you'd think he'd still have the drone.
Which drone?
The drone that was integrated from the Stark suit.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
actually, now that I think about it, where did that stuff go?
It's in his goggles now, but then he disabled the goggles, so it's like.
Well, probably just their movement, not so much what they.
Yeah, but he was using the stuff throughout the film. So it's
and
like
by the end of the movie,
they
he
disabled
doesn't have
the goggles,
AI
but
talking
he's still
to him.
No, because he was still using it to track the jumps, and that's another thing that kind of confused me. Where it was
towards
like
the lake part of the movie. No. Once he's got the
towards the. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think
bugging?
once he disables those goggles, he's not. It's all just him. He's all just eyeballing it from then on.
Okay, which is fine. I'm not mad at that. But I don't know. It just kind of felt like this film was. That's another reason I kind of knocked this film down a little bit. It was a little bit all over the place. Not in a bad way per se, but it was all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. There was just a lot of instances where they kind of started ideas and then they kind of like left them.
Yeah,
where they
didn't really
like. I really wish they would have done more with, and we'll get into this once we go through the whole film because we're gonna go through the whole film. But another just a quick point I want to make is like the mutation stuff felt kind of random.
Yeah,
and not in a way that like was like progressive. It was literally just kind of random. Where like there was a time where he just like went unconscious and then he woke up in a cocoon.
And it was giving me very much symbiote vibes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that was giving me like full symbiote vibes. He got way stronger. He got way more aggressive with the symbiote taking over. He couldn't control it, but then towards the end of the movie, he just could. But like. And then he suppressed it, and then he like it. You know what I mean? It was just like
I could see him kind of like just getting his control over and just saying, "Hey, it was all because he was like resisting it, and it's actually."
But they didn't do a good job of like getting that.
That's
off.
what I'd say.
You know what I mean?
I think the problem with the mutation is that it actually didn't get very much focus in this movie, which I thought was kind of strange.
Yeah.
I swear I thought. Towards the later to the end game parts of the movie, we were gonna get like, okay, this is why this is happening.
Yeah.
This is the end stage of it. This is what you're gonna turn into.
Yeah, we didn't get an end stage of it really. He just accepted
like,
it, and then it just like.
Exactly.
But it's like.
Which, like,
so then why suppress it if you're just going to end up harnessing it anyway? Like, I don't know. They were making it seem like if it came to its final conclusion, it would be a problem.
Yeah,
and it
either
ended
it would
up
be a problem or
not
he would be something
being an
unrecognizable.
Issue. Yeah, exactly. Like, they made it seem like he was going to turn into a monster. They even said that. Like, it sounds like you're trying not to prevent a monster from coming out. And then it came out and he was just a good guy. Like,
yeah, it was just, it was literally just his kind of, his instincts. And not even like in a primal monster instincts kind of way. It was just like the spider sense at max output.
He essentially gets like the black suit powers, but without all the downsides.
Pretty much. He's not doing like web tentacles, but like his webs actually do get
They're
much
way
stronger and everything.
Yes,
so
and it's like he's
like,
way faster.
He can full on like just make like a large spider web now.
And now he can just move at bullet speed. Like, you know
and
what I
he
mean?
is very, very
so it's
fast.
Like he's very
and
fast
strong
and way stronger. Like to the point where he was struggling with Scorpion and he just no diffs him. Like
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It is a noticeable jump. And it's like there are no downsides,
and they at least addressed more so what it was.
Like the film does so much build up to be like, oh, this has downsides. Like all this power comes with downsides, and then by the time the film concludes, you just realize there was no downsides. So what you know what I mean?
Because because one of the points they bring up to be a downside of these new powers is that his senses get turned up to 11.
Yeah, he starts tweaking.
A bag of chips slides across the
sounds
rooftop
like a
he's
boulder.
on, and it literally sounds like a boulder crashing down next to him repeatedly.
Yeah.
And so I figured, at least he'll have to like do some training or like slowly get used to that. And then at the end of the film, they kind of just like he gets all the perceptive, speed and whatnot, but that side effect kind of does just go away.
Yeah.
which is really weird because he'd been suppressing it for so long. After that, you'd think there'd be some kind of backlash to
Yeah,
that.
it's like what got rid of the side effects?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah.
See, I mean,
And it's like I'd like to think maybe they're going to expand on that in the next movie, but nah, that definitely needs to be addressed here because
that
Spider-Man
needed to be addressed
has been
here.
developing new powers throughout the entire movie.
Yes.
And his power level like triples or something at the end at least. And
yep. And there's no explanation or downsides really.
Yeah.
Even the reason that the mutation started happening was not explained.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's another weird thing because
he's been doing this for the past 4 years.
Exactly.
While they're in college, no issues, and now it just pops up. It's like, what is that from?
And it's kind of odd because, I mean, the most they do to explain it is saying, oh, spiders do this like 3 times or whatever, going from
right. It's like a timing
child
thing
to adolescence
because
to adulthood.
Of his age, yeah.
But it's like, I mean, looking at his age right now, if should be at the end of college, then he should have probably started
like
this
24.
already. Exactly, he should have started this already. I'd say at the latest like 21.
Yeah.
Not to mention they state that like spiders go through this several times, and I guess sure the first time would have been during his actual like human adolescence, but even then he should have been seeing some weirdness with his powers at that point as well.
Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. They kind of are just doing stuff a little bit.
It's also like
maybe there's some cutscenes that we didn't see that kind of does a better job of explaining it, and they kind of figure it's gonna make the runtime too long because this is not a short film.
No, it's not.
So I'm sure they did cut some stuff out that maybe was more fleshing out of like the reasoning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But brother, they got. I mean, if they were gonna add some more time in, they got some other stuff to address as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know what I mean. So it's like this film has a lot going on and not a lot of time to develop all the things. It does a really good job of developing the characters, but the plot suffers because of that.
Another idea, one more thing on the mutation stuff. Go now I got to look up if spiders only get the ability to spin webs in like their absolute adulthood stage, which for a spider makes sense, but now I'm just curious about that. But another idea that I think in the movie doesn't get enough kind of time to address it is when Peter talks to Bruce for the first time about gene suppression.
Yes.
And Bruce is trying to warn him of the danger of making a universal suppressant.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like that's a massive ethical question, especially because the person they're going to use it on in this movie is Jean Grey, a mutant. And we all know where that conversation goes when the mutants are, in question.
Yes.
And it never gets there. It just doesn't.
Nope.
Like it's okay, you shouldn't have done that to Jean, but that's just because literal cause and effect means that she was not the biggest problem in this movie.
Yep.
They never actually kind of grapple with the ethical questions of do we just take people's powers from them? They just say, hey, Peter, you're not becoming a monster, you're just changing. You need to just let yourself breathe here. Which I gotta admit, I hate this message coming from Bruce Banner because this is literally honestly, Bruce Banner feels like I don't know what to even call his character with what kind of has happened to him in the MCU. I was kind of trying to roll with it for a while, but it's just not right. And it's not even just that we're not
ritual. There's nothing else to call it, bro.
It's not even just that we haven't seen the Hulk. That's one thing, but it's like, so, let's just trace this guy's arc back over the MCU. I know this is a Spider-Man video, and I'm talking about the Hulk, but give me a minute.
Hulk's in the film, so they did this.
He is in the film.
Anyway.
Like technically, like 3 different versions of him, and that's the even weirdest part. We're gonna.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
honestly, it's not weird how it shows up in the film, but it just again.
It is so sporadic. It is so sporadic, though.
Honestly, I think how the movie used it is fine, but it bothers me because of the implications for Bruce's character.
Yes.
But we go from Bruce at the beginning of the MCU, picking up after where the Hulk movie left him. Him and the Hulk are obviously things are not good. But he learns he can transform at will, or at least he did at some point, and he does the whole, I'm always angry Cap moment. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So he and Hulk are not cool yet, but he can at least initiate the transformation at will because he's just come to accept this as part of himself.
Yep.
Nice. He gets mind controlled in Age of Ultron. Things going to go rough. Hulk takes over for a while in Ragnarok.
Yep.
And they get
for
beat
a
up
long while.
Yeah, for a very long while.
Wow.
And then they get beat up in Infinity War, and we all, we were all there to say, is Hulk scared of Thanos? Though they come out and they say the Hulk wasn't scared of Thanos. He's unhappy with being Bruce's weapon. And then we come back to him in Endgame in supposedly a perfected state, right? We get the smart Hulk. Bruce is the personality. He's in the Hulk's body. And I don't know about everyone else, but I actually immediately didn't like this because
Agreed.
It's like it was just a big green Bruce.
It ruins the duality of the character.
Not even, well, also that, but literally, like, if you just think about how that literally works, like you said, there's duality. There are 2 personalities in there. How is this a compromise you're both happy with?
Yeah.
Hulk
It's a
wanted
weaker
to
version of Hulk, and his entire thing is strength and anger.
not even that. The Hulk, he was angry in Infinity War and refused to come out for Bruce because he was tired of being Bruce's weapon. So the solution to this is to sunken place the Hulk entirely. Never let him come out to be himself.
Yep.
You take his strength and you just keep living your life as you.
Yeah.
I don't see what Hulk benefits in this deal. How is this making you both happy?
Not at all.
And it's weird because it comes to a head in this movie, but at the same time, it's like it just really makes you look back at Bruce like, so what have you been doing this whole time? Because, we get Smart Hulk for a few movies. He shows up in She-Hulk, whatever. It's cool. He's regulating himself, and he's just a smart Hulk. In this movie, he takes it a step further, and he is able to fully regress to being a regular human again. I forget if he did that during She-Hulk. I actually did. Watch that show.
I think he built the inhibitor during She-Hulk. Yes.
Yeah. But he fully regresses himself to just being Bruce all the time now. And now he never turns into the Hulk at all. So, again, I got to ask, how is this a compromise between you and the Hulk?
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, like I said, they have a conversation where he's like, oh, could I choose to, suppress specific parts of the DNA? Obviously, the spider DNA in himself that's growing. And Bruce says, that's kind of dangerous because how do you decide what does and doesn't need to be suppressed? And, especially towards building a universal suppressant. Except, Bruce, you're the pot calling the kettle black.
You genuinely did that, yes.
You've been all this time deciding.
You took the strength of Hulk and then left the rest.
And then you just decided screw all of him. And you just left him trapped in, a DNA cage. Yeah. Which is crazy to me because at least Peter can decide, hey, I don't want mandibles or webs coming out of me or my eyes to go jet black. Fair enough. But that's another person within you, Bruce. He has feelings of his own.
Exactly.
And you functionally killed him. Or, I don't know, did whatever happened to Nikki in Obsession. I'm going to keep referencing that movie. I'm going to keep referencing anything. I like referencing things. But, yeah, basically, Bruce,
I do understand what you're saying, though.
You have another personality in you that you functionally killed.
Yeah.
Where he just doesn't want to be physically freakish.
Mm-hmm.
That's two very different things.
I agree.
But you want to ask him when he decides enough is enough? Dude, you've literally decided that you've turned the slider all the way up to 100%.
Yeah.
On both screwing the Hulk over and being a hypocrite, apparently.
Yep.
And yeah, it sort of kind of comes to a head in this movie. You don't really get it addressed, on Bruce very much, but basically later on in the movie, you get the Hulk Spider-Man fight because Jean Grey takes him over. And first, it's.
Well, we'll get to that. We're gonna start at the beginning of the movie first. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go in order. We're going in order. Just to let you guys don't get confused, and we'll start. Yeah, we'll start at the beginning. Short,
I'm angry at Bruce.
Yes, I agree. I think that what they did with Bruce in this film was a little weird, and I think what you just said definitely encapsulates it. His character, it just doesn't feel like Bruce in this movie. It just does not feel like Bruce Banner. It feels like he was shoehorned in kind of as a help part. I mean, almost like
just to
counseling
be the smart
for
guy
Peter.
To go to, exactly, and then also just to give a set piece and act.
Yeah,
two.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna lie, it does feel a little bit like we as fans got a bit baited with Savage Hulk coming back in this movie.
Yeah, we got baited a bunch in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of stuff in the trailer that baited us into thinking that this film was gonna be something that it didn't really end up being, and that's okay. I'm not super mad about that. But for instance, how they handled the hand, not interesting. That kind of sucked.
Come back around to the hand,
yeah. And we'll get to that later as well. But yeah,
I don't know how serious it is, but I'm not gonna lie. It makes me want to dock a cool 5 from this movie because I'm a massive Netflix Daredevil fan.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. First of all, Daredevil's not in this movie for some reason.
Yes, he is not. I understand why. There was already a lot going on.
There were a lot of people in this movie.
He was referenced.
But wait, he was referenced?
Yeah. Frank said that he had another friend like Peter.
Oh, I didn't even catch him.
He was saying all remember when he found out Peter's identity, he was like, "Oh, you're just you're just a good guy. I have a friend like that."
Oh, I didn't even catch him.
He was talking about. That was not.
Yeah, he's definitely talking about Matt. But I just didn't even. I don't know what I was doing, but I just missed that line entirely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. There's a lot of people in this movie, but you're fighting the Hand. Those are Daredevil's guys.
Yeah. Well, this film was not focused on action. It was focused on developing characters, and it succeeded in doing that. The action struggled because of that, and the story struggled because of that.
Yep.
And I think I don't hate that. That's why I didn't shit on the movie. You know what I mean? It's still a good movie. I think there is room for character-based films, especially within the Spider-Man verse. You know, just with Spider-Man and the characters surrounding him, I think that is valid, especially with where the MCU is at now. It's overdue, honestly.
Oh yeah,
I think that like
long overdue.
Peter getting a lot.
Got a bunch of movies that have sacrificed characters for the sake of cool scenes.
Peter getting
no
development, MJ getting development, and not being useless in this film, which is beautiful. We love an MJ that doesn't suck.
We do.
You know, Punisher got
Punisher was actually great.
He was the best part of the film, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't think any of us expected him to suck, but he was even better than I hoped for.
Yeah, Jean Grey got the least development in my opinion. She didn't really have a lot of screen time either. Like she was around, but like she wasn't like on screen as her. She was just taunting him with 3 other bodies.
Honestly, that I didn't really mind.
I didn't mind that either, but still, like the motivations from the character was a little underplayed. It wasn't weak motivations. You were trying to find your sister.
You just think they didn't give it enough credence.
They just like until the very end of the movie, they were just like just poking at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole VMAX thing.
Yeah.
Like it literally was just not mentioned until like the last 30 minutes of the film.
And I kind of get leaving it because Peter, for the large part of the movie, isn't supposed to know.
Yeah.
But we could know.
Yeah. They treated the villain's motivations like a revelation at the end. You know what I mean? Like, and there was also there was a little bit of exposition dumping in this film.
She's just doing
I can't lie.
We don't know why.
There was some instances of literally just the villain explaining his evil plan. You know what I mean? Like that was like, all right, bro.
I forget. There was a moment that Jean had, and I was like, why are you doing this?
Literally, it was when he fell out of his like room, or like he like fell out of his cocoon thing, and then she like spawned next to him with that one dude, and he literally just explained the evil plan, bro. All right, but anyway.
And also, I just had it in my head. Oh, yeah.
Scorpion had a very minuscule part to play in this film as well, which is very disappointing in my opinion.
Oh, that was exactly what I expected. That was exactly what I expected him to do with him.
I was low-key actually looking forward to a sequence where he got poked by the venom and something happened.
Now that I very much was
some
surprised.
Type of like psychological torture.
I was extremely surprised to see he never stabbed anybody.
That maybe
with
accelerates the DNA thing. Maybe causes the stress in dude, because he is getting overly stressed in this film. I think the thing I thought that the thing that was going to send him over the edge was getting poked by the venom. Didn't happen. I think that would have been a great way to write that.
The way that never happened almost made me question, like, is their version of Scorpion just not? Does he not do the whole poison thing? Does he not do that to people? Because I'm like, there were so many scenes with him, and not one person ever gets jabbed with that thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
But we don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, more Scorpion could have been great, and I think a way to make him actually like have a purpose in this film would have been that. But that's just me.
And there's another thing I gotta make sure I remember to ask you this, because it was something I saw that I didn't understand. It relates to Jean's motivation there.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure we'll get to that once we get through the movie. But anyway, back to the beginning of the film. We're going to actually go through a run-through of the beginning to end of the film, scene by scene, and we'll kind of explain what our thoughts on
break some stuff
the
down.
things. Yeah, exactly. We'll do a little breakdown. So, movie starts off. He's got his montage. After the montage, we learn that there is a tank that's been hijacked.
Yep.
A lot of crazy stuff's going.
I forgot we were all the way still at the tank.
Yeah, we were at the beginning. Yeah, we were yapping. But it's all good. I don't mind that. So we were it's going down this main street in New York, and it's headed towards the building of Damage Control.
Yep,
and
exactly.
Damage Control serves as,
if you remember, they're those guys that that Vulture was stealing from in Homecoming. You know, the people who clean up after all the superhero battles.
Yes, exactly.
So they have a bunch of stuff that no one should have their hands on.
Yeah. And they're also focused on like detaining high-level criminals and rehabilitating
their role
them.
Kind of gets expanded in this movie. They're trying to rehabilitate criminals, and basically they've kind of turned the damage control idea, which just sounds like, mitigating damage, but they actually turn that into a slogan that means, taking these potent things and controlling them in order to try and harness them for good. Yeah. And so that seems pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially this tank is headed for the damage control building. Spider-Man obviously stops it because he can stop tanks. Frank is actually chasing that tank as well.
That's funny. Like, in the middle of
that's the funniest part of the film.
Absolutely. In the middle of like Peter just insomniac Spider-Manning it up, he jumps on the tank, and he just gets a spider sense from far away, and he's like, what? And he gets hit basically on the body with like a grenade or something like that. Yeah. So he falls into the street, and then he gets hit by a van that Frank is driving. We saw this in the trailer. Yeah. But and I'm just like, wow, he just actually, like, I guess he knows it's Spider-Man, but still, if I was anyone else, you would have killed him.
No, yeah, exactly.
This is how you say hello, because Frank is just casually talking to him after this, with him plastered to the front of his van, mind you.
Yeah, so Frank's on the case. He's also trying to stop this tank from
Yep.
crashing into the building, obviously. And so they're both chasing it. And Spider-Man jumps on his windshield,
Oh, it's the
and
funniest
he's
thing.
got the grenade launcher.
Yeah,
And
because
so
he's got a
Spider-Man,
window in his van and he's shooting through.
And Spider-Man's like, dude, this is not the way to handle this. Chill out. So he takes the grenade launcher, he sticks it to the top of the van, and then he pulls out.
And by the time
another
he
one,
looks back
bro.
at Frank, he's like, "Yeah, what now?" And Frank's already pointing another one, and he just
That
laughs.
was the funniest part of the film, in my opinion. Oh my, that actually made me laugh. I
That
was
was
dying.
such a good one.
And it just gets Frank Castle
And
so
I
well.
was
This
gonna say,
film
that's
gets Frank
exactly what
Castle
Frank
so
would
well,
do.
bro.
Honestly,
But anyway,
I love John Bernthal's version of
he's
Frank
so
Castle
good,
because,
man.
and honestly, a lot of the characters he plays, because
Yeah.
he can play these dudes who are these like dirtbags who clearly hold a lot of anger inside, and
Yeah.
yet they can be so funny
Yeah,
at
yeah,
times.
yeah. I agree.
They can,
I agree.
I don't know how
He's
he
such a
can
good
be,
anti-hero.
Yeah, I don't
He's
know how
just
he
such
can
a
be
good
so
anti-hero.
dark, but at the
Yeah.
same time, just so good and
Yep.
like you just like him.
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
You enjoy him.
Exactly. So, anyway, Spider-Man puts an end to that because Frank is just gonna mess everything up.
So
Here.
he has.
He's gonna
enough.
do nothing but
He
harm
decides
people.
he's gonna get
So,
back from being
yeah.
hit with a van. He jumps
Yep,
up,
yep.
literally web grapples onto the van, diving in and tackling
Yep,
Frank
yep.
clean out
Kicks
of
a
it.
hole through the van, brother. The van's cooked. Frank's out of commission, right? So then
Literally,
Spider-Man
dude's bleeding out of the mouth, and it was just funny to me that like, wow, these dudes have this kind of relationship where they just
Yeah.
try to kill each other.
Yeah, exactly. So Spider-Man, he goes to go finish stopping this tank because Frank has basically just gotten in the way at this point. So he's gonna go finish his job, right?
Yep.
Spider-Man goes and stops the tank. He does that by like kind of wrapping like around, like tripping the tank almost, so where it, like flies.
Exactly.
But it still does break through the building. And so it's like, okay, cool. The damage control building has a hole in it now, whatever.
Yep.
But no one's gotten really hurt, really. They also, I'm not gonna lie, the writers did a great job of making this Spider-Man save people.
Yeah.
Chasm did a bad job of that.
Yeah.
But like, anyway, he doesn't let anyone die to the giant
And he's
tank
doing like
barreling
some
through
really
the streets.
cool web maneuvers
He
to
tries
catch
his
people.
damnedest. He
Mhm.
literally will not. He won't go for the villain if there are
multiple
people in
times,
trouble.
like the villain does get some land on him, but honestly, it's not bad because I feel like a lot of superhero stuff they kind of, I don't know, it feels cheap, but it's like you see something happen and he actually goes and deals with it, and it's just by the time you catch up with the villain, yeah, they're further away because that's what makes sense. We haven't been watching them this amount of time, where it's like, I don't know, I feel like other movies or something like that, it feels cheap because the villain's basically dead to rights, and then they put a random civilian in danger. And then they fully get out. They just get off free. Exactly.
Yeah, but this one it makes sense because he could be anywhere, literally.
Yep.
Because at this point he doesn't actually know that Jinga is controlling these people.
Yeah, he
and
doesn't
so
even know what's happening.
it's just a ghost that's just jumping what in between stuff. It's like, what is going
And
on?
I gotta say, that's just awesome.
It is.
That whole phenomena and the way that power is working
Yes.
and the mystery towards figuring it out is actually pretty awesome in this movie.
Yeah, and they don't make it OP, which is actually also done very well.
Yep.
We'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so yeah, he busts open the cab of this thing to see who the perpetrator is for crashing into this building with a tank. It's just like old lady,
man.
bro.
Like,
It's literally someone's grandmother, bro. And he's like, what is going on
he
here,
was
bro?
baffled, and he's like,
Yes.
you know what, like,
Yep.
it doesn't quite disarm him, and he's like, you know what, like, you got to get out of the tank.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was thinking the same thing. And she looks at some guy behind him, just some guy who works at damage control, armed SWAT looking dude, and he like turns to shoot somebody, and Peter just instant reacts and webs his foot because, again, this Spider-Man has the best spider sense of any of them. So he just kind of detected something leaving the old lady and going to him.
Yeah.
So he's like the only person around who can react to whatever this is, jumping bodies like this, and it just makes for some amazing scenes.
Yes, I agree. And so essentially the villain here's motivation is to free Scorpion because in the previous scene he already beat Scorpion.
Yep.
And like during the montage he beat Scorpion.
Yeah.
And
Scorpion back.
Yeah, Scorpion's in jail. So we want the villain essentially for some reason wants Scorpion back. Fine. So Scorpion's getting like airlifted out to another facility to make sure that
he
there's
doesn't get free.
Yeah, he doesn't get free. But the villain does end up actually getting inside of one of the people that's like escorting him away.
They do this neat thing where they like body hop people as a means of traversal.
Yeah, which is cool.
It's
really cool.
just really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's essentially. We know that eventually, like, the scene kind of ends, but Scorpion is now going to be on the loose, and Spider-Man has literally no idea what's actually going on.
Yeah, because Spider-Man just about catches up, but like the last two guys that he's seen them controlling are like just sitting there like, what happened to me?
Yeah.
And the helicopter with Scorpion in it is already gone, and then sure enough, it was a person who was actually flying Scorpion who was taking over. They then pass they just let Scorpion go. They just let him go.
Exactly. Yep. So his next option is like, all right, well, I got to figure what's actually going on. So he goes to Yelena, I believe.
Yep, he actually runs to Yelena, the new Black Widow. I forget if it was confirmed before that she's taking that name now, but yeah, she is.
Yep.
And it's the funniest thing.
I think it was in Thunderbolts or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget.
She's been in a lot of stuff. So.
Oh yeah, no, I know she's been in stuff. I mean, I forget when she would have taken the name Black Widow. Yeah. But yeah.
She's essentially saying she can't help, which sucks. But
it's the funniest thing. Like, he runs to her, and she's like, "Come into my," or he goes into this random place. There's this guy just sitting there reading a newspaper. He tries to like ask him like, "Hey, like, what's up? Where do I go for X and Y?" Dude doesn't say anything. This lady runs up, says something in Russian, tosses him a towel, and he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like heads deeper into the building.
Yep.
Doesn't really know what that means. And he comes to a hot tub room.
Yep.
And Yelena Belova is just sitting in there. And she's like, now take off your clothes.
Which is insane to say. But hey,
crazy
that's how we're
way
living,
to enter
a
room. Like, I just got here.
Yep. That's how we're living in the big 2-6, I suppose.
But this is her office. I forget, but they have a little banter, and he's like, I thought you said like this is your office, and she's like, yes, this is.
Yep.
And yeah, she insists he take off the spider suit, and he's like, but I have a secret identity. They go back and forth. So he reaches the funny conclusion to and again, this is where like I see some Insomniac Spider-Man love, because he comes back on screen with a towel around his waist, nothing else, and then the Spider-Man mask on, and it's like, that's just funny. And I know if you've played the games, you've seen that skin. Good time all around.
Yep. So they're talking essentially about, she kind of just like starts to get into his personal life, like how he's lonely.
Yeah, because he refuses to take off the suit. So she's kind of one of the first characters to call him out on like how he's a shell of a man these days. She talks about how, you're kind of sad and whatnot. You just got these bruises on you. You don't take off your mask. You don't have any friends. You don't talk to anybody.
Like, dang, why you on that with me, twin? I came here for info. Why am I getting cooked?
He basically says this. He's like, all right, that's enough about me. Like, I'm trying to find somebody here.
And so she kind of just starts exposition dumping. Oh, this is probably not mind control, because she's very experienced with the mind control side of things, especially when it comes to governments or whatever. She thinks that it's more of a possession. Why does she know so much about this? Not really sure, but whatever. So she thinks it's more of like a possession type thing, and I guess she's done some research on like Jean Grey and like
she's mostly damage control, because at this point no one knows Jean Grey is even a thing.
Yeah. But she understands that damage control has something to do with something.
I believe was it? I believe it was Yelena who first mentioned VMAX, wasn't it?
Oh, because whoever was breaking into all these facilities was searching up VMAX.
Searching VMAX. Yes. Exactly. She found that whoever was breaking into all these facilities, because this body hopper hopped 300 different people to all try and dig for information on something called VMAX. Tell Spider-Man this, and he's like, okay, VMAX, got it.
And during the scene, we see Peter's toes on the screen. Which is hilarious.
True.
That was
it was funny. She was trying to actually, like, she tries to be helpful and say something important.
You just see him.
It's a close up of her, and you just see his toes just rise into frame in front of her, and she stops and just looks at him. He's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. I can't. So yeah, then he leaves and he goes to kind of figure out what's going on. And what's the next scene that we got here?
Yeah, so he heads on over to damage control, like, headquarters and whatnot. And it's funny, so
because he's got a good relationship with the damage control headquarters and the police, actually, NYPD.
Yeah, the police love him. He's got kind of like his own Commissioner Gordon going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really cool. And she also calls him out for like being kind of a loner. Not yet. That happens a little later. But he walks into damage control. He's like, I got an appointment with the guy in charge. And they're like, take off your costume. And he's like... Yeah,
they're just begging him to, like, give up his identity. I don't know what their thing is with that, but, like, relax, dude. Anyway.
It kind of turns into a nice little symbolism of, like, him being, like, walling himself off from people. But in the literal sense, there's also a lot of people who just expect him to just drop his secret identity.
Yeah, which is insane.
Like, no.
Yeah. Anyway, no superheroes ever done that. What are we talking about? But anyway, so yeah, they well, I guess Iron Man did. But
so saying Marvel actually a lot of these guys basically don't have.
They
don't
even care.
Identity.
That is kind of crazy. But in the traditional sense. Anyway, they have this meeting, and Peter asks about VMAX to the head of the damage control.
And he's like, I have no idea.
Yeah, he generally doesn't know.
He shows Peter a bunch of like cool stuff they're doing, trying to rehabilitate villains. They got like a shocker gauntlet that they're trying to figure out, use that power for something non-destructive. A couple of hand guys, which here's where my
this is why hand falls on its face, man. Like they just seem so.
It says
cool.
the hand is a bunch of kids basically with no guidance. So
Yeah.
they just took in a couple of members of
Yeah,
the
like
freaking
they're the
hand
Ninja
after
Turtles or
Spider-Man beat
something.
'em.
Like, what are we
Exactly.
talking about?
Now they just work there, and it's like, this is not the hand. Like,
no.
and I could maybe give it a pass if they were going with Iron Fist version of the hand, because they were actually just a bunch of like just punk martial artists. But Daredevil's version of the hand, like that little 4-man group, take 4 actual hand ninjas, and I kid you not, that very damage control building, they'd take that place over.
Oh
in
yeah,
20
100%.
minutes.
Yes,
like
yes.
the hand are actual demons.
They
in
made
Daredevil,
them literally
example.
just fodder in this film.
Exactly,
So.
and that's the version of the hand who wears all the red. So it's like that's those guys, not the goofballs from Iron Fist.
Yes. So it's like, I don't know, man. That kind of sucked. But
Yeah,
whatever.
that's not how the hand works, man.
It is what it is. Anyway, we just see, from all the villains that Spider-Man's beaten or the Avengers have beaten, or whatever. Just a bunch of artifacts
like,
that are
we
laying
could
around.
probably use it for something good.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not mad about that, bro. Loki thinks he's Cecil. I forget his name, but yeah.
Bill. I know his name's
Sure.
Bill, but I don't remember the rest of it.
Yeah, whatever.
But he's in charge of damage control.
Yeah, but he's not that.
And he's Bill.
Whatever. Sure. But yeah, he generally thinks he's Cecil. I don't know. He's trying to like rehabilitate villains and like it's
honestly,
weird.
I'll give it to him. He's got a higher success rate than Cecil.
Yeah, lucky. So essentially he doesn't really get anything from this conversation. He kind of leaves and he's just like, all right, well,
we just established, they're helping each other.
Yeah. But there's this giant vault, and they're like, whatever this person's after is probably in this giant vault. And Peter's like, oh, what's in the vault? And he's like, can't tell you.
Yeah, he's like, that's the thing about being. I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, that's the thing about being, whatever I am. I can't exactly tell you that.
Yeah.
And then Peter is like, by the way, does the name VMAX mean anything to you? He says no, and then he's like, so where'd you even hear that? Peter's like, that's the thing about being a superhero. Can't tell you. And then he leaves.
Yep, exactly.
So gets him back.
So that's kind of interesting. So I think Peter at this point goes, to go get some. Oh yeah, he goes to like the little housewarming party, I think, right?
Yeah, at this point,
that's the next scene.
If I'm
right?
not mistaken, at this point, Peter heads to Ned and MJ's housewarming party because they have recently moved to this apartment. They're rooming, which honestly, I think
he brings flowers again.
Yeah, he brings some flowers because this is just sad boy Peter. He's always got flowers on him. But at this point, I was honestly starting to think like, wait a minute. What if those two get together? Like, what if he waits all this time to go and talk to them, and then he finds out they're together? That would hurt.
That would actually be brutal. But okay, no, I think he actually, when he goes and grabs the flowers, I think he sees Ned first.
Yeah.
At like the little store, he's like addicted to energy drinks.
Yeah. Oh my God, this whole thing about Ned, like with these energy drinks, he literally asks the clerk at the store, like, "Do you have these?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she grabs one, and he's like, "No, don't sell me those." My friends were addicted to them. Yeah. So actually, you gotta never sell me one of them. If you see this guy, don't sell him to me. And honestly, part of me thought at that point, like, does he know there's a body snatcher walking around? And
I was gonna say,
like, because he's saying this as if he expects something that looks like him but isn't him.
Yeah.
To come trying to get these drinks.
Yeah,
no, he's addicted to them.
He's just like,
he's like, don't let me buy them. Actually, let me buy one, and then don't sell me anymore. Okay, make it 2, and then never sell them to me again. And so Ned's folded. Peter follows him back on the subway without being noticed.
Yeah, because he just misses his friend, man.
He just misses
you can
his
tell,
friend,
like
dude.
he just like
it's
like,
a painful thing.
Yeah, it is. Like he's watching him from afar. Well, not from pretty close actually, but like,
but like Ned's kind of like, because Ned is one of those people who like his personality is on his sleeve and beyond.
Yeah.
Like everything Ned does just reminds Peter of like all of the good moments they've had together.
And they were best friends, so it's like he just misses having a friend, man.
Exactly.
He hasn't had a
no
friend in
anymore.
like 6 years, dude. You know what I mean?
It's terrible.
So it's like it is really, really horrible. And he's just, I think at that point it's starting to show that like he is Spider-Man at this point. He's a fully embraced Spider-Man, but he misses being Peter. You know what I mean? And I think that's the film does a really good job of portraying that side of Spider-Man. And I think that's like something that we haven't really seen in MCU Spider-Man at all. And I think
really in any kind of big movie Spider-Man.
That's like one of the bigger developments of the MCU Spider-Man. So anyway, so he goes to the housewarming party, and dude, he pulls up on Ned because Ned obviously gets to the housewarming party first. He talks to Ned as just like a normal dude or whatever. He's like trying to introduce himself, and then MJ walks in, and he turns around and he just freezes. He can't hang, bro. He literally can't hang. He starts stuttering. He starts choking on his drink, bro. He's bugging. He can't even. He just gives everyone like a fake alias that he meets because he's so afraid of people knowing who he is. So like he goes up. He just says the most BS name, bro.
I was gonna say that's the best part is he never tells people all the same names. So everywhere he goes, he's made up a different name.
He's got like 17 different aliases.
Literally, he's kind of bad at it, which is funny even after all this time. So he goes in and there's a couple of funny moments. I forget what the kind of very first thing he says to MJ is, but he just says he's like some neighbor and he came over to check just check things out. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, that's a friendly neighbor."
Yeah. This is the trailer.
He chokes on his drink.
Yeah, that was a trailer moment as well. But yeah, so he is just like, bro, he's feeling the feels. And you can feel for him too, man. It's like, bro, she walks in and it's like, what do you even do, bro? Like, what do you say to her? You know you can't tell her anything about anything. You have no prior knowledge of each other at all. Like, she doesn't have any prior knowledge of you, at least. And it's like, bro, there's like it's a party, so you're trying to be like not weird, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, I genuinely I'd have walked off. I can't lie, bro. I just would have jumped out the window.
Jump out the window.
I don't know how you handle that, bro. I genuinely don't. So anyway, she kind of gets weirded out because he just literally can't get any words out. So she like leaves and goes and like talks to like
he gives her some flowers. He says her a housewarming gift.
Yep. So she goes to put him in water.
Yeah, she goes to get him in water.
Yeah. And so he's just kind of standing there by himself. But then you realize that she has a boyfriend. Bro.
Oh man, it's the most painful thing because I think Ned follows her over there, talks to her, and they have a private conversation. She got this job, but she turned it down. She feels like she's waiting for something. Hint, hint. And then her boyfriend walks over, which we don't know is her boyfriend yet, just some guy. But he walks in, asks her how it went or whatever, congratulations and whatnot. I forget. There was some more kind of personal stuff.
Yeah, she got the job because there's like an interview. She got the job. She didn't want the job, whatever. Cool. And then I think Ned walks away, and then the boyfriend pulls up, whatever, and they're yapping. It wasn't really a good, it was like a quick
kicker is when he says, "Oh, like that's my girl" or something like that. Like puts his hand on her face and they kiss.
Brother, when they kissed, the theater audibly gasped.
Like
everyone in the theater was like,
"Oh, and it cuts over to Peter because he's just trying to be low key somewhere.
Yeah, and
like,
you can see it, bro. He sees
just goes,
it.
Like you just see something die in him, man.
Bro, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. At that point, bro, I'm pulling the Kendrick Lamar "You Scream," bro. Genuinely, bro. But anyway, so he's got to hold that, bro. He can't take it
anymore. He walks out of the party immediately.
He dips.
Luckily, no one sees it.
Yep.
And
he just starts swinging, bro. He's going through.
He has his version of Miles' swing at the end of Across the Spider-Verse, except he's no costume.
Yeah.
He's just sad.
He's swinging in the rain, bro.
Wet in the rain. Just the very painful swing.
So he goes back home, and at this point, he is bugging, bro. Like, he's kind of like the mutation stuff is really messing with him.
This is when it kind of actually like gets named.
Yeah.
He goes home. He gets this headache. His hand starts to hurt real bad for some reason. And I believe he just straight up passes out. Like
he blacks out. Yep.
His eyes turn black. He hits the ground, wakes up in a cocoon. On his own roof.
Yeah.
Hanging.
And I'm not gonna lie, especially with this scene, I really wish they would have gone. And I know they're waiting for like symbiote stuff. I'm not sure if they're gonna do something with symbiote stuff, but I would have loved. Because he was out for a couple of days, remember?
You know what just hit me?
Dude, it would be nice if he was, like, fighting crime as, like, the other version of him.
Unconscious.
Like, you know how, like, in Spectacular Spider-Man, where the Black Spider took over when he went to sleep?
Exactly.
That would be so cool, bro.
You know what just hit me? I actually wasn't even thinking that, but, like, this could actually be his symbiote stuff, and he just attributed it to a mutation in himself.
I would have loved that. Even if they didn't go the symbiote route and just had it to where, like, there is a more powerful dark side of Peter that can take over. And it doesn't necessarily have to be symbiote, but that is a really interesting premise for the character.
Yeah,
and it's always been done through symbiote. I don't hate if you do it through non-symbiote and just do the mutation. Because I know there's comics where he gets the mutation stuff off or whatever, but honestly, I don't hate the premise of not doing symbiote in this universe or whatever, but just doing it in a different way and making it the mutation thing. I'm fine with that. Honestly.
I'd be perfectly fine
That'd
with
be
that.
like a new take on the whole arc or whatever, but they didn't really go with that. He was out for a couple days and he was just sitting in the cocoon, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, which is strange because it's like like for most of his other stuff throughout the movie, the mutation doesn't have the kind of effects where it actively takes over his body. Either it's weird stuff like organic webbing happening, or his behavior is modified but not taken over, as in he gets more aggressive, but he's still at the wheel. It's just he's like overflowing with hormones and whatnot. Yeah. But in this case specifically, while he's unconscious, he fully like gets up onto his roof and cocoons himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like that never happens again. Why did it just take over his body?
Yes, that was another thing. Yes, exactly. That is another thing. You know what I mean? And I guess like you could argue that it was like the thing with like shedding, like spiders shedding. I guess they don't really have control of that. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know, man, because it's like they consciously find a good spot to do it.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess like you could argue like, oh, a caterpillar doesn't like consciously do the cocooning thing. It just like happens. But I don't know, man.
I don't know. Don't they consciously do that?
Well, I've never been a caterpillar, so I wouldn't know. But
this guy hasn't lived.
Yeah, I was gonna say
all of our caterpillars out there.
I'm missing deep lore, but but no. So yeah, he goes into like his cocoon state, and this is where he kind of. His mutation starts to kind of like become very, very prominent. Where he literally can't.
Like weird
it's not like
happening.
on and off. It's like always on, and he has to suppress it by other means. He can't just like focus and like lock in.
No, he cannot simply take control over it.
And so his organic webbing starts to come out, and he's remembering that Tobey's Spider-Man also had this. Yep. He's like, oh, it can't be that bad. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
And it's funny because he has his own version of in Spider-Man 1, his sequence of like. What? Go up in a web. Go web. Shazam! Of him like trying to do this to get control of his webbing. But Tom's is way more potent and way messier.
It's like a fire hose, bro.
Literally, like he's just
his recoil on it.
Yes, he got recoil. He's like pushing himself back with it and crap, man.
Yeah.
Makes a web mess all over the rooftop.
Yep. He really has to relearn how to use his powers, basically.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah, and essentially right after that, he has to go fight Scorpion again.
Yep.
So Scorpion is because when Scorpion got released, he got out when he got in the helicopter,
and basically seems to be helping who or whatever is controlling these people.
Exactly. So he's essentially trying to break into another damage control building. Peter pops up, but at this point, his webs are barely working. He's literally hitting stuff on the way, bro. Yeah.
So like. Literally, Scorpion's doing this whole thing. They get the intro scene of like, and he just bodies some random guy.
Yeah, he's just cooking people.
And he's about to body another random guy when Peter comes.
I like this version of Scorpion, by the way.
Oh yeah, I actually really do enjoy this version of Scorpion. I definitely do want him to get some shine. I just understood that wasn't going to be this movie.
But whatever.
Also, the kind of spoof Rhino during the montage was crazy to me. It seemed like it was just some like. Some guy.
With gauntlets.
Yeah, just some guy with like a thing on his head.
Yeah.
Who
I didn't
Peter
like that.
Jumped over and just let him run into a wall. And
I didn't like that version of Rhino, but whatever. Sure. Cool, man.
But yeah, so Peter comes quote unquote swinging in because he's like, it's more like the web is genuinely like this massive rope just coming out of his arm, and he's just like flailing through the air. It hits a couple of signs, slams down on the car behind Scorpion, and he's like, Peter gets up and he's like, dude, could you maybe not do this today? Like, I have a terrible headache.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, his senses are blown up out of proportion.
Yeah.
A bag of chips sounded like meteorites. It was crazy.
Yep. And this is kind of where, I guess Jean Grey, we know. But, this is where the villain kind of realizes that something's going on with Peter.
Yeah.
Because he used to be able to sense me, but now he can't.
Exactly, because Scorpion's not at the wheel. They are.
Yeah.
And Peter is like I said, he's talking to Scorpion, and they're like, "You think I'm Scorpion? Oh, so you're basically on the fritz. You can't sense me anymore." And they start having a fight, which at first is actually pretty cool. It probably looks like what Spider-Man and Scorpion's fights are regularly like in this universe.
Yep, and Scorpion starts getting the upper hand here.
Yeah, they both do some cool maneuvers, but Scorpion's taking the upper hand because Peter's everything is
just nothing's working, bro. His webs aren't working.
Webs are being stupid. Nervous system going.
Yeah, exactly.
Random things are just too loud.
He's genuinely getting fried, bro.
Yeah, so he starts.
He's overstimulated.
Basically, and that was actually part of me was wondering if at some point it was kind of like a bit allegorical of that, especially because for some reason his AI thinks it's a good idea when he's getting, when his sensory overload is happening, to start telling him your senses are being overwhelmed repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like,
thanks, pal.
First of all, my senses are telling me that. Second, shut up if you know that's what's happening. Like, you're not helping.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so they get into a fight, and Peter starts to literally lose. And at that moment,
at this point, the stinger's like inches from his face.
Yeah, he's literally about to get stabbed in the neck.
I'm thinking we're gonna see him get poisoned.
Yep. And his mutation takes over, kind of like a survival, almost like the Hulk.
Yeah, I was gonna say fight or flight.
It's like it's like a fight or flight thing. Yes, exactly. And so he just literally just goes into
whooping Scorpion.
He loses control of his body though. That's what I'm saying. Like it completely takes over of his body, where Peter goes away and Spider-Man comes in. You know what I mean?
You think so? Because I felt like it was more like kind of like
not
like
Spider-Man,
rage
but
taking over. Like it was fight or flight instinct, but like I think he was still in control, just kind of overwhelmed
like kill mode.
with anger.
It's like
kill
exactly,
mode. Like instant kill mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like the way he kept talking after that and stuff like that, and then he does get control when like his Commissioner Gordon
like
talks
the
to him.
Here's the thing, though.
It definitely seemed like a
film makes it a point of making that version of him seem as if they want it to be portrayal of Spider-Man, because, and this is we're already in spoilers, but like I just want to touch on this. When he was fighting the Hand and towards the end of the movie, and then Jean Grey asks him, "Oh, do you want to be Spider-Man or Peter Parker?" And he goes into the black eye mode,
says both.
and he says both, and then he goes back to his so the film is telling you that is Spider-Man, and him with his normal eyes is Peter. So it's like,
I kind of looked at it as like the symbiote, where it's like, yeah, he'll get like thrashing somebody, and he's still in control. It's just he's overwhelmed by like the aggression and the amplification of his own negative emotions.
I suppose. I mean, you could be right about that. I could be misreading it.
It could be either.
But it really felt like the film was kind of like, oh yeah,
no, yeah,
this
the movie
is Spider-Man.
was. They were trying to make a dichotomy there.
Yes, but like that's not Spider-Man though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like that's not the persona.
That's
of
kill
Spider-Man.
mode, bro.
Yeah, the persona of Spider-Man is all the like. It's all of Peter's morals actually.
Yes.
And like Peter himself, I'm not saying he's kind of removed from those morals, but it's like. Yeah, the symbiote, the mutation, whichever one, that's just all of his anger and things that he would leave with Peter if possible.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, we're back to where we were in the story.
Yeah,
so
he beats up Scorpion.
Yeah, he just
grabs
puts
his
belt
tail,
to Scorpion,
and we saw
bro.
it, slams him on the incoming cop car,
bro.
which, there was a cop in that car
that
who
was
was
crazy
now
work.
deeply
I can't
injured.
Lie. Yeah. And I was so disappointed that J. Jonah Jameson wasn't in this film, because J. Jonah Jameson would have had a field day with that clip. Oh my, he's been praying for days like this. I can't lie.
This mutation stuff would feed Jonah for the next decade. He literally wouldn't need to work anymore because he would literally get sustenance off of his hate for Spider-Man.
And he also does, so anyway, he slams into the cop car, throws him on the ground, and he does an insomniac finisher on him too. He jumps up in the air, and he does the double slam, bro. He
jumps up, webs down, and slams
Yes,
him.
Bro. It was so tough. It was peak. I can't lie.
It was actually pretty great. I'm not going to lie. In that very moment, I thought he might have actually like straight up killed Scorpion.
Yeah, I thought he looked. I'm not going to lie. I thought he did too.
Because, in the comics, there is a time where I believe it was Doc Ock in Peter's body at the start of Superior Spider-Man. I forget.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Where he just slams him.
Exactly. They didn't recognize Peter's strength, and they hit Scorpion full force, knocking his jaw off.
Yeah. That was Doc. Yeah, Doc in his body.
Doc.
Yep. But anyway, with that being said, so at that point, his Commissioner Gordon type character, just like, all right, you gotta go, big dog. You already almost killed a cop. You gotta leave and like figure your shit out real quick.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
And it's cool because she's not against him. She's not saying, "Oh, you're a menace."
Exactly.
She's like, "Look, another stunt like this, and I cannot protect you."
But she's very sympathetic. She's like, something's been going on with you. You gotta figure your stuff out. It's not like in a mean way either. Yeah, it's not in a mean way.
He was actually telling her about him. Like, I've been having headaches.
And
for a
she
while.
knows this is uncharacteristic. She's not suspicious of like his motivations or anything like that. Yeah,
She doesn't think he's crashing.
She's like, this is just not you.
She's like, something's happening, and this isn't you. So you got to go get this under control.
Exactly.
Or I can't help.
Yep, exactly. And so they they gather up Scorpion or whatever, and he gets out of there, and he kind of figures his stuff out or whatever. And then what's the next scene?
I believe this was the part where Peter actually decided. Yeah, because she asked him, do you know? She asked him do you know what this is, or how what can you do about this, or something like that. And he's like, I know someone who could. Know something. So he goes to Bruce next. That is the next scene. His college class.
He's LARPing as a college student.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, he does. Peter does a lot of LARPing as a normal guy. It's pretty funny. And also Bruce here, he's trying to just teach a college class. He's talking about gluons and quarks. And this girl asked a question. Well, she raised her hand, and he's like, "Before I take this question, is this about physics, or are you going to ask me about the Avengers?"
Bro, this has to be the actual least intellectual college room I've ever seen. Like, no one, they're genuinely sharing one brain cell. I'm not joking.
Literally. So she, I forget exactly what question she asked about the Avengers, but literally, he's like,
she asked why Thanos didn't double the food resources.
She asked, why didn't Thanos take his magic glove and double the food resources? And honestly, the answer is because Thanos is just crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But Bruce doesn't say that. He's like, I love to answer these questions, but at some point I gotta teach you guys physics.
Yes, bro. And then he volunteers another student to answer, and he literally just goes ooga booga as the Hulk, bro.
Yeah, he goes Hulk smash, the entire room just starts yelling.
Like, okay,
and they're like, yeah.
All right, bro.
And so he answers the question.
Right. So we're 13 years old. Like, okay, bro. I don't know. What are we doing, bro? We collectively has 6 brain cells between all of us, bro.
It is quite
We're just
funny.
actually doing whatever. But Peter stays after class.
The guy who's did his Hulk voice, he literally showed up to this class painted green.
Yeah, it's like, all right, buddy. Sure, man. So Peter stays after class or whatever, and walks up to after the lecture's over. He walks up to Bruce Banner, and he starts asking him about like his
how he's suppressing the Hulk.
Yeah, his suppress. Well, he kind of like already knows a little bit. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're a suppressor. Like you essentially like use some mRNA gene splicing stuff to like inhibit certain genes. Yeah.
Bruce was trying to give a basic explanation, and then he's like, oh, so it's like a selective.
Yeah, he already knows the ball.
Something or other RNA. RNA.
Yeah.
And Bruce turns around and he's like, you're not one of my students,
yeah,
are you?
exactly. And he just says he's a grad student, which is also cap. But
which is hilarious.
Yeah. And Bruce isn't dumb, so he already knows low-key. Yeah. But so they start talking about how there could theoretically be a way to help. Yeah.
So basically, like, do the same kind of process of targeting select DNA, but basing it off things other than the presence of gamma radiation. In Peter's case, he's asking about like, say, foreign DNA specifically from something non-human.
Yep. And they kind of come to the conclusion that theoretically you could make something that doesn't inhibit just any mutant DNA.
Exactly. Any non-human DNA you could target and do that with. Mutants, spider people, Hulks.
Yep, exactly. And so Peter goes home and gets to work on it. He kind of develops an inhibitor for himself that
after Bruce is a massive hypocrite.
Yeah, whatever.
We've been over that.
Yeah, we've been over that. But he goes home and starts developing stuff. But he kind of develops two different inhibitors. One that's universal and one that is for him. The one that is for him doesn't really work because of his AI and his goggles using power, and they're kind of like overheating it. But the one that
he doesn't know this yet, so he tries to go outside wearing it in the Spider-Man suit, and it instantly overheats, and he like falls.
Yeah, he drops his two web bombs.
So that was hilarious. So for one, when he first found out about the mutation, also he tried to put on his web shooters, and this is when he finds out he's got organic web spinners coming out of his body, and they literally like
they force eject.
They launch his web shooters across the room. With webbing because they will not be contained apparently. The AI is like, looks like you can't use those both at the same time. And at this point, I was honestly wondering, and we know this isn't how Spider-Man does this, but still, it's worth considering. I'm like, what about putting them on the back of your wrist? You can just, all it would take is like kind of remapping where the button is, but they don't get to that. That's just one of my questions, so fair enough.
Whatever. And so essentially what happens is he kind of like falls out of his room, whatever. He's in the alleyway or whatever.
He drops two web grenades because that's the thing he's got. He actually throws them under the tank earlier in the movie to help stop it. But those just explode, and you just see like it cuts to a shot outside the alley of Spider-Man just getting launched out of it and rolling a little ways across the sidewalk, covering in his own webbing.
Exactly. And this is where we get to one of the most sinister parts of the film. So literally, bro,
genuinely, like just several acts of just. You can't call it anything but evil.
So he gets like exploded out into the street by his web bombs, and he's like trying to recover or whatever. He's just like getting up, like okay, whatever.
And this random guy walks up and is like, "You okay, Spider-Man?" And I'm like, cool, like happy New Yorker, you know, just wanted to help Spidey.
Yeah, we immediately know something's wrong because New Yorkers don't even acknowledge you when you explode. But
no, seriously, because no one else does. This guy's the only one. No one even turns to look.
Exactly. So there's like this guy that walks up to him, and then he just like starts talking to him, and he immediately Spider-Man immediately realizes just by the way that he's talking that this is the body hopper person.
The next thing he says after like, "You okay?" He's like, "You're trying to contain that monster in you, aren't you?"
Yeah. And he calls him. I think he says Peter.
Yeah.
And that's when he reveals that he knows his identity, and he's like, oh.
Peter's crap.
Like, wait, hold on.
Because like,
wait a minute.
Peter even like asks his AI thing to like look back at his house right now, and you just see a hooded figure literally going through Peter's things. Like. Picks up his letter to MJ that he, was reading off from the beginning that he's written for and never handed to her because he couldn't bring himself to do it. Just reading the letter in front of this screen, and he's just like, "There's no way."
Bro, chill.
He goes through a round or two of denial, trying to say, like, "What are you talking about? You're bluffing. You don't know where I am."
And this is where we get into monologuing, bro. The villain genuinely sits there and explains the evil plan, brother. And we get that it's Jean Grey at this point or whatever. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm trying to get through to find this thing, VMAX, whatever, from these facilities, yada, 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 blah, 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 cool. It's basically just that Jean Grey is trying to get into one of the facilities to figure out what VMAX is inside of one of these damage control facilities.
Exactly.
Anyway, but to threaten Peter, essentially, or like, because essentially... The only thing that's foiling, because they were like, Jean Grey was going to use Scorpion's body to get in.
Peter's intervention all
yes,
this time.
But Peter's been foiling. If it wasn't for these meddling kids, anyway.
So Jean is like, look,
stay out of my way.
You can either stop doing this, or I can start going after the people you love. And I'm not gonna lie, it's like I said, Jean Grey is a menace here, and she gets extremely intimidating when she she, is like, oh, you wrote her a nice letter, a bit heavy-handed, but it's a nice letter.
Yeah.
And she's like, I could go pay that girl a visit,
Yes, bro.
And her lines here are like straight up sinister, and it's like some great villain writing.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Jean Grey would make a great
villain.
villain.
It is, but it's like Jean Grey's not a villain, and you know that she's not a villain. So like they're overstepping it a little bit. I can't lie.
Wicked moments.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like at this point, you don't really understand the character's motivation that well. So it's like, why is Jean Grey just a demon, bro?
Yeah, I thought this was just malicious Jean Grey. Like I was figuring, like Jean Grey, the X-Men are coming to Doomsday, like probably a mutant just being captured. But I'm still like, why are you doing this to Peter Parker? He has nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
But yeah, threatens MJ is like, I could pay her a visit, and I forget exactly the delivery.
Just body hopping to people, like just literally says body hopping.
Yeah, but the lines before that were like great. But she's like, she was like, you better start swinging, and then she's like, someone else across the street, and she's like, because I'm fast.
Yes.
And then
at this point, Peter's webs don't even work, bro. Like
his webs don't even work.
He just came out of a struggle with these.
And she saw this happening to him, so
his web shooters don't work anymore, so he has to use the organic webbing.
And then she does one of her just straight up again, just evil deed. Like this is crazy.
Evil
this is
deeds,
insane.
yes.
Like she jumps into this random guy right in front of Peter. I think this is when she gives the line actually about like, you better start swinging because I move fast.
Yes.
And she literally just has him happily walk back into the street,
bro.
And he gets hit immediately by a taxi.
Bro.
And it's
old dude.
Old dude. This man is old. He probably didn't survive that.
Yeah, I was gonna
it's
say.
terrible.
Yeah. So she's just actually comfortable with sliming out random civilians that have nothing to do with anything.
Just to screw with him.
Sure, bro. That's how you're living, twin.
And of course, when she does, it's like he's watching a trail of people because when she jumps between bodies, the person kind of like jerks and spasms.
Yeah, and so he asks his AI to kind of analyze how far the jumps
exactly,
are.
And then see like physical phenomena happening between them. But you just see these people just all like getting kind of smacked around in a trail down the road. So like you see Jean basically flying down the street, jumping bodies. And it's kind of terrifying in all honesty.
Exactly. And then like at some point, like she ends up in a guy in a helicopter, and he's like essentially chasing this
sequence because like first it was. He like crashed into a random building trying to swing because his webs are on the fritz, and then some random guy on a rafter turns and he's like, "Man, you're not like I forget what he said, but he's
she's
another taunt,
taunting him,
another taunt to say like I'm making like basically like to say like this is a hard swing you're having, like I'm making more progress right now, and then. She's already down the block again.
Yep.
Peter tries another time.
Yeah, she can easily outpace him at this point, but she's just trolling him, bro.
Exactly. Crash lands at some poor couple's wedding. He's trying to apologize and leave, and the bride was in the middle of her speech, and she stops, looks at Peter, picks up the mics, and says, Spider-Man is basically, sorry, I ruined it, but she's basically saying that Spider-Man is trying to catch the love of his life, and he can't.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. Everyone at the wedding is like looking at this woman, and then she turns to the
waiter.
It's some random waiter,
runs
and he
outside.
says some more ominous stuff, and then dives out the window. She jumps into some more people.
There's a helicopter outside. Why is the helicopter outside this building?
Bro, they were gonna like fly off into the sunset. It was
yeah,
be
sure.
Beautiful.
I guess, bro. So they take the wedding helicopter, and then Peter like hooks onto it or whatever.
Yeah, he webs
and like
on
Peter
it.
at this point, his AI tells him that the max jump distance is 33 meters.
Yep.
So at this point, as long as we isolate this guy in this helicopter, we're chilling. So that's what he does. He like yanks the helicopter against the crane, webs it up, and he like kind of talks to her and says like, "Yeah, you're stuck here, right?" And then
he actually goes to catch up with MJ.
Yeah, he goes to catch up with MJ.
Which,
but then,
man, this scene is pretty excellent. So he grabs
But this
MJ.
this pissed me off because like, how did he get out of the helicopter?
Yeah, I was gonna get around to that after the whole twisting.
Do you have an explanation for that? Because I didn't.
Oh, absolutely not. No,
this is just magic.
I can only guess that for some reason someone might have gone up to check on the crane or the guy in the helicopter and then body hop, but
how? No, I think the only way that this could have happened is literally if she just
kamikaze that guy. I think honestly, because I don't know if she can do it that way. I think she probably kamikaze that guy and jumped out of his body into someone else on the way down. That's my best guess.
That's super messed up, and I didn't think of that.
That was my first thought.
The only other way is if she rescinded, if she unjumped,
reset to herself.
And then just jumped into there because she can go so fast. She just jumped there for anyway. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I have no idea. My best guess is that she killed that guy because she's clearly not above it if she'll just throw someone in front of a car.
That is also true. Yes.
So
but
it's
anyway,
like, God knows.
Yeah. But that was kind of weird. Anyway, so
he catches up to MJ.
Yes.
And he's trying to explain like, look, you don't know me, but I know you. There's a dangerous person after you. I don't have time to explain. You got to come with me.
She's like, I don't even know if you're the real Spider-Man. But then she's like, all right, fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because she's been feeling like she's been waiting for something. So she goes with him.
Yeah.
And they're on a rooftop somewhere. which he stands in front of this big sign that says silver, and I don't know why. I was just like Silver Sable, but that obviously related to nothing. I don't know, man. I just reference brain. But yeah, basically he's talking to her about like how he can't explain, but someone dangerous is after him, and MJ is like, "Did I know you?" And he's like, "What? What do you mean? No, like how would you? Why? I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I've had this weird feeling, and plus, like, you saved us too many times when we were in high school. I could see once or twice, say, like, the Washington Monument or this other place, but then there's all the times in Europe, the whole Night Monkey thing." She's like, too many times for it to just be coincidence. And basically, she starts to, like, kind of press on him more, and she's like, were we friends, classmates, maybe something more? And Peter, like, can't really, like, address it. He's just kind of trying to deny it, and he kind of can't really keep doing it because he knows MJ's not stupid.
Yeah.
And so she, like, kind of stands, like, face to face with him, real close, and I forget exactly what she says, but basically she starts to go to lift his mask.
Yeah. She's like, I gotta know.
Yeah, she's like, she's gotta know who he is.
Yeah.
So she lifts up his mask, only to the mouth. That's another Spider-Man classic.
Yeah.
And they kiss, and it's really nice, and they hug. And Peter's like, "Oh my God, like MJ, like
she acts like she remembers him."
Yeah, Peter's
she's like Peter, like she kisses him, and she's like Peter, because she fully takes the mask off. She's like, "Oh my goodness, it's Peter!" And then they hug, and it's like a big reunion scene, and you're all happy. You're like, "Dang, he finally got his girl back."
And
man.
then like he's just looking over her shoulder because they're hugging.
Yeah.
And you just hear, really. The power of love beats the spell,
bro.
And it's like
the whole theater was like,
like that is genuinely
torture.
Brutal.
Actual
she
torture.
actually just twisted the
actual
knife
torture,
into him
bro.
With that
actual
one. Like,
torture.
That's
I'm
so
not gonna lie, bro.
up, man.
The second time I'm pulling the Kendrick Lamar "You Scream," bro.
At that point, dude, I'm giving up,
it's
dude.
just like, bro, I can't lie, bro. A crash out is warranted. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm calling up Frank Castle. Get rid of this threat. I need you.
I need your method. You were right. We're doing this your way.
Oh my goodness. Man. But anyway. So
but yeah, it's genuinely so painful. You just see like the pain and the shame on Peter's face.
And then
she like slowly backs away from her.
Yeah, he realizes that she's possessed, and then she starts backing up towards the ledge of this building that they're on. And then, bro, I'm not gonna lie, Peter actually gets pissed off, bro. He goes into like the eyes
starts to take over again.
The mutation
he's calling
takes
her
up.
a monster because that is some pretty monstrous behavior.
Yeah.
And he gets tired of her, and he literally
chokes
her up
bro.
by MJ's
I'm
neck.
like, hey, yo, bro.
Like, you're forgetting whose body she's in, but yokes her up and says, "Get out of her now."
Yeah. And then,
which I think we forgot to mention early on. Jean tried jumping into Peter's body, and got booted right back out.
Yeah. So the spider sense will not allow it.
It put Peter into like kind of like that whole weird Century Void thing where you're in like your personal memories, except they weren't torturing Peter. So that was nice. It was actually just him in his room in his first Stark Tech suit.
Talking to Ame.
Yeah, it's a really nice, sweet conversation they have. It's about how you're special, and that's gonna make you feel lonely, but you're not alone.
Yep.
You can't take all of that and put it on yourself.
Yes.
You gotta find somebody. You gotta, even no matter how powerful you get, no matter how much you get hurt, you gotta keep on like letting people in because you can't do it all alone. And she tells him that's his greatest responsibility.
Yep, exactly. So, essentially, we go back to the scene where
he's choking out his ex.
Yeah, exactly. He's choking out his ex. And then Jean Grey essentially jumps off the.
Yeah, she like
kicks off.
Legs all the way up.
Double
and just
kick.
Kicks off of him.
Yeah.
Almost like doing a whole maneuver in the air.
And we get a whole Andrew Garfield scene where she's like literally falling.
She switches back to MJ.
Dang, she gonna
so now
die,
she's
bro?
falling to her demise.
Yep.
So Peter dies to catch her. Webbs does it correctly, pulls her to him.
Yep.
No more trauma for the night.
Yep. She like wakes up mid fall.
Yeah. Literally, like MJ from her perspective was on the roof and then was falling. She didn't even get to experience walking over there. She was just falling.
Exactly.
But Peter catches her barely. He like tries to web. It doesn't quite go right.
But she gets knocked out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's just unconscious at this point.
Which I don't know how, but sure. He just caught her, so I don't know why she'd be knocked out, but whatever. Sure.
Fainted.
She pulled too many G's. I don't know.
But they swing and slam to a garbage can. He takes the brunt of the hit and hit the ground. He also takes the brunt of that hit. and he's got MJ in his arms, and this random guy starts walking up and
hands him the letter back.
And it's honestly kind of sad to see because at this point Peter is so freaked out and
overwhelmed. He's like, you win. You got it, bro.
He's like, you win. Stop.
Yeah, chill out. Literally,
don't do anything
bro.
else. I'll give up.
Yeah,
and it's like sad to see him in this state.
Yeah. He just doesn't want anyone else to get hurt because of him. Literally.
And like this is already just. I'm not gonna lie. Jean is genuinely terrifying.
Yeah, Jean
like the stuff
is,
she's willing to do.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, brother. Even by the end of this film, I still don't forgive her, brother. Like,
no.
You're just a bad person. I can't lie.
Her
bro.
motive, like, it's the classic revenge issue. There's some people who, hey, you want to rip them inside out? Fair enough.
Yeah.
What did all of those guys do?
You're way too comfortable catching random people, random civilians in the crossfire. You're just if for someone that's like supposed to be like a good person at heart, you're just so comfortable with just putting other people at harm's way for no reason.
Absolutely.
Like it's like you didn't even have to really. Like,
no.
Anyway.
No. You really could have gotten the point across without throwing that guy in front of a moving car.
You genuinely
kind of crazy.
Yes, but whatever. So Peter's like, yeah, you got it, bro. I'm gonna leave you alone. Just leave my people alone. Whatever, cool. Yeah. And so this is where he essentially goes to get Frank's help because he has to keep her protected.
Yeah. He just needs somewhere to hide MJ.
Yes.
And luckily, Frank is such a paranoid old psycho that no one knows where he's at.
He's got claymores set up in his crib, bro. Like, what are we speaking of? Yeah, bro.
But random guy goes back to his car. Jean Grey sitting in the back. She says, "Take me to," and then the guy finishes the address because she's controlling him, of course. And they're on their way. And and
Peter catches a glimpse of her face.
Yeah.
So now he knows it's Jean Grey behind it.
Yep. And he's able to run it through some systems, find out Jean Grey. That's who we're after.
Which was interesting to me because how do you know that's the real one?
That's the real person?
Yeah. There's no there's just nothing.
Else, like I'd say, what else would be the reason for him to be transporting that person? But that could easily be his daughter.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you know that they can't control two people at once? You know, it's just like, how do you identify that specifically as the person?
There's millions of other situations that could be.
Yes,
that
exactly.
could lead to there's a girl in the back of the car.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless like he specifically noticed that she was giving him like orders.
They could literally just be an Uber passenger.
Could easily.
You know what I mean? Anyway, so plot says so.
He looks it up. You get Jean Grey. That is Jean Grey.
Exactly.
Fair
cool.
enough.
Sure.
Well,
at first it says no matches, but then
because a bunch of information was scrubbed.
Yeah.
And he's able to eventually run this back to Elena. She gets more info. But
because Elena knows that it's Jean Grey. Yes, exactly.
But for the time being, he takes MJ to this abandoned kind of shipyard. He actually swings there. Well, goes well. He
he's getting the hang of it.
He swings her there. And he's walking, and he's like, you gotta stay here for a while, lay low. And he's walking. He triggers a trap, which what was the first trap?
One was a trip trap, and then like literally was just like two things that collided, and they literally had to jump out of the way. And then it was like they literally like MJ got up, walked back 2 steps, another trip trap, and two things come and slam from above, bro. It's like they literally almost got crushed twice in 2 seconds.
He sets off one. Yeah. She's like I think she said something about like how that was like insane. Why there's these traps here, and she immediately trips one. They almost die again.
Yep.
So he grabs her, dives off the ledge, which triggers another thing where literally just the turbine of a massive like naval boat just falls, and Peter actually just straight catches it.
Yeah, he just catches it. Yeah,
he tosses it.
Yeah, he's getting pissed at this point, bro.
Yeah, he's getting heated.
You can tell he's getting fed up, bro.
Strength is coming in.
Yeah,
so he throws it, and I think he even says something about like how ridiculous it is that all these traps are set. And at this point, I was thinking like. At this point, I thought this was Jean, and I'm like, wow, she's really been playing like 5D chess with him. He hasn't made one move.
Yes, exactly.
But no, this is just paranoid old man Frank, because he comes over like the side of some boat and is like, "What are you guys doing here?"
Well, first he just sees Peter. He's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, well, who's the girl?"
So he basically tells him like, "All right, whatever, I'll hide her." Oh, there's this bit that comes up actually. Because he's like, I'm not hiding her for you or whatever. Like, I'm not just taking some random girl and babysitting her. And Peter's like, you owe me, man.
Remember Staten Island?
And it's funny because Peter will bring this up. He's like, I literally saved your life on Staten Island. Yeah. And Punisher is like, every time, either Peter doesn't say it directly and he's like, don't tell me this is about Staten Island again. Or if he brings it up, he's like, you didn't even save me. And the funniest thing, they both get so mad. They start telling their version of the story. They both turn to MJ and they're like, all right, how's this sound to you?
Yeah.
But they're so mad they don't let the other one finish. So they're talking at the same time.
They're just talking over each other.
Telling this story. And MJ's just sitting there looking back and forth between them with the most poker face like expression on.
Yeah.
And they finally finish the story and they're like, so what's that sound like to you? And she says, I don't care. I just want to go home.
Yeah, that's real. I ain't gonna lie. I am mad at her.
Like, that's her exact words.
But Frank offers her chili. And they go inside.
He offers her chili. Yep. Peter says, I would not eat that chili. They go inside.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yep. So they go inside and we get a little bit of like, kind of a little bit of like, I don't know, not a character development for Frank, I'd say, where
some insight for anyone who hasn't watched the
yeah,
Punisher.
exactly, yeah, exactly. If you're someone who hasn't watched the Punisher or Daredevil, you get a little bit about like who Frank is. And
MJ walks in,
yep.
you know, she opens up a door somewhere or something, and there's a bunch of pictures of this beautiful lady and these kids, and it's really nice. And she's like, "Oh, is these your family?" And he's like,
"Close that shit."
Yeah, he says, "I got one rule in my house. All right, you don't touch anything, you don't look at anything." And you sure don't go, yeah, you sure don't ask me about a thing. And she's like, that's 3.
Yeah, so we get MJ being smug MJ again, of course. Which I think, I'm not going to lie, I think out of all the renditions of MJ so far, this is my favorite. I don't care.
I'm not hearing anything about it.
And she's
I still am a
she's
firm believer.
She's not annoying, she's not useless.
Exactly.
I love that. I'm not going to lie.
I'm still a firm believer in Gwen Stacy's supremacy, but
I agree,
this is the best MJ by
I think
far.
we actually saw Gwen in this film earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention, there was this random
encounter in the elevator.
Encounter.
Yeah.
So at one point, Peter just walks out of his apartment, everything's normal, and this girl just is there, and she actually tries to like say like, "Oh, hey, like, are you, you know, someone new here or whatever?"
He ain't worried about all that, man. He missed
MJ. He like literally doesn't even like properly respond to her, and she's just like, but she's like this blonde girl, and I don't care if Spider-Man movie and blonde girl, that's Gwen Stacy to me until proven otherwise.
Exactly.
So then later on, when he cocoons himself, he falls down an alleyway naked. He like climbs in a window into the basement of his apartment building. There's a random guy doing his laundry, and he's like, "I live here, trust me."
Yeah.
And so he says he's just getting his clothes. He snatches some random person clothes. I thought they were his. They weren't. Snatches some random person clothes and jumps on an elevator. That blonde girl from earlier, they were her clothes. She gets in the elevator, and she looks at him, and she's like, "Are you wearing my shirt?" And he's like, "What? No."
It's a crop top.
It covers him up to here.
Yeah.
And he's got on these random black pants that when he walks off the elevator too, after he tries to like make a joke, they say "juicy" on the back, and it's just
those are definitely her pants.
That's her whole outfit.
Yeah, you got her outfit on.
There's just no coming back from that.
Crazy way.
The only way you could ever hope to come back from that is by telling her, "You're Spider-Man. Look, I was mutating. I woke up in a cocoon." That's the only way you can explain it.
Cooked, bro. Negative 10 billion, or I can't lie.
Only because it's Gwen Stacy, it might work, but otherwise he's cooked.
Yeah. But anyway, rare Gwen Stacy sighting in this film.
Gwen Stacy. Shouldn't have wore clothes, but
yeah. But anyway, back to we get to the essentially Punisher's now harboring MJ, and that's fine. And they get a little bit of like a little yap scene or whatever. They kind of talk about like their whole relationship situation or whatever.
Oh yeah, sweet moment where Peter. There's like MJ.
It's nighttime at this point.
Yeah,
they're getting ready for bed or whatever.
She's chilling on this bed. Peter is working on his gene suppressor.
And this is where we get MJ. Yes,
he's working on his gene suppressor and his gene suppressor, as in Jean Grey.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he makes one for his spider DNA and one for anything.
But the one for him doesn't work, and they're trying to figure out why. And they're kind of talking or whatever. And MJ is at first like he's working on it or whatever, but then they're like talking about like the relationships or whatever. He's asking. He's like low-key asking her.
He's
about,
trying to figure out about the boyfriend. He's like,
yeah.
Is there any because she asks, is there anyone like should I or can I make a call to somebody? He says, yeah, probably not. Sorry. And he's like, would you have called your boyfriend? And she's like, probably not, because I get asked a bunch of questions.
Yep.
And I'd be told that I'm being withholding again. And he's like, how are you withholding? And she's like, well, you tell me, Mr. Mass Vigilante behind the curtain, because there's a big curtain between them. Because he's got his mask off while he's working, and he's got to admit it. She's got him there.
Exactly.
And he can't figure out the suppressor.
Yeah. She actually helps figure it out. Yeah, she figures it out. Like she's actually not just useless. She actually is useful, and I love a good useful character. Exactly. I love a useful side character, and especially when it's MJ. Please make MJ smart. Oh my God, smart MJ is so much better than dumb, just ridiculous MJ that jumps off rooftops. My goodness. But anyway.
And that's why we like Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
I also hate Iris West and Lois Lane.
Iris Wayne is crazy.
I also hate Iris West and Lois Lane for the same reason.
Yeah. Please make the love interests useful. I beg of you. Please.
No more ladies jumping off of buildings. No more reporters in general. Yeah. I'm just so over that archetype of all of them. Anyway, back to MJ here.
She's smart. I like that.
Because she actually kind of goes down the checklist of like what could be causing this thing to short out because it was overheating.
Yeah, she figures out that it's the AI in his goggles.
Yeah, she's like, so there's got to be something like radiating something. So she asks like, okay, how about like your in suit AI or whatever is in the suit? And he's like, well, that disperses through the suit, so that's not a problem. And she's like, okay, what about the goggles? And he's like, well, that's a really small field. But she's like, well, it's also on your head, very close to the suppressor.
Yeah.
He puts it on the back of his neck. So kind of hits the nail on the head there, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're a genius. You're right." And yeah, that's pretty cool.
Exactly. So they get a cool little moment, and then the next day, there is another attack on one of the embassies.
Peter has finished the proper suppressor for himself by this point, so he actually just takes a nice normal nap. He's not being overstimulated. He's not cocooning himself. Punisher comes down the next day and is like, "You couldn't sleep either." And I kind of like this detail that it's like these people hiding from themselves can't sleep, and also Frank's probably just grappling with another round of PTSD from watching his family die. So like I kind of it's cool that it's like it's sad, but it's cool because Frank probably can't sleep very often. But yeah, and then him and Peter have this cool conversation where basically Frank is like, "So like your girlfriend or whatever there," and he's like, "No, that's not my girlfriend," and Frank is like, "I know she's somebody you do. Like, come on." And Peter's basically trying to like, say like, "Hey,
I play cool."
Exactly. Like I do this stuff to protect them and whatnot. Like, it's like you and me are both like this. We're these sad, lonely dudes for the sake of other people. And
Frank makes a point, bro.
Yeah,
you are not like me, bro.
He grills him and he's so right about it. He's like, "What? Like, no, we're not the same dude."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You think this is a choice for me? No, this is a sentence."
Yep, exactly.
And he's like, "Do you think that if I could have even 1 second of having them back, that I would want to put myself behind a mask and be a coward and hide from them?"
Yep.
And like, yeah,
he's
right.
cooking. He's cooking.
He lays into Peter, but he's right. And Peter like stops and thinks, and he kind of does that thing where a character kind of gets hit with the gotcha and they can't refute it, and so immediately the plot is like, "All right, let's since you can't rebuttal, let's put you into another situation."
Yeah, exactly.
Jean Grey is now attacking this
the damage control building. Yep, another one. Yep, the one with the vault now. The one with the actual vault. Yes. She's trying to get into that one. So essentially, it cuts over to that building.
The Bill and all of his people are basically just hiding in this room in front of the vault. They're kind of sad and scared. And we're like, "Oh God." And you see Jean walking up to what I assume is Bill's computer and sitting down to look up VMAX.
Yep.
Which turns up nothing.
Yep, because VMAX doesn't.
Actually doesn't know about VMAX.
Yeah, he actually doesn't. He was not lying. So essentially, what happens is she essentially is like trying to get through into this building. There's like a big bang. There's like a bunch of like banging going on.
Yeah,
you're like,
that.
What is this giant bang? Like, who is she controlling that's banging on the wall that's hard or whatever? Cool. It's like, all right, cool. So Spider-Man shows up. Yeah, if you know, you know. It's the face of Mr. Incredible, like with the black and white filter, bro.
I hope you guys have seen that meme. Otherwise, we just sound like lunatics. But it's just like black and white. Just it's Mr. Incredible's face, but like
it's just a black and white filter. It's like 240p, bro.
240p. It's just him in misery, dude. He's just not okay.
But anyway, so
they like made him look like hyper realistic, so he looks extra just tense and not okay.
But anyway, so so Spider-Man shows up or whatever, and it's obviously to foil her plans of getting into this damage control building.
And she simply had enough of him by this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So he tries to corner her, talk her down or whatever, and she's simply not having it. And so she's like, I forget exactly how it was worded, of like, "Oh, I can't beat you," or "I can't stop you," or whatever. But she's like, "Yeah, well, he can."
Yeah, exactly. And out comes Smart Hulk, bro.
Peter gets freaking domed with a table from the next room over. He's just knocked on his ass.
Yep. So Hulk starts piecing up crazy.
Yeah,
obviously,
Hulk
is he's just way stronger than Spider-Man. Yeah. Not that like Spider-Man can't really hang, but it's just that Spider-Man's just got so much to deal with at this point. His organic webbing still isn't really working as intended.
He's trying to maneuver around.
Well, no, he's not using organics anymore. He is actually using the web shooters.
Yeah, because he's got the suppressant working.
Yeah, exactly.
Now Peter is actually at the top of his game.
Yeah.
The top of his regular game.
Yeah.
He's not mutating.
He still can't hang with Hulk though. I'm not.
No, yeah.
Like,
Smart Hulk.
He can kind of fend off, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He can fend him off, but he's not doing anything to win the fight at all. He's avoiding a lot of like try to crush you moves. Because Jean Grey clearly does not know how to fight when you're the Hulk.
Yep.
So yeah, that's happening.
Yep, and Peter starts getting cooked, bro.
Yeah,
he starts getting literally ragged at this point. Yeah, and he's literally about to get like ground pounded like Loki in Avengers 1, bro. And then out comes Frank, bro. Frank pulls up with the MG, the saw, bro.
Literally, he's like getting grabbed up, and then Hulk just starts getting like bullet riddled, which obviously doesn't hurt, but he's doing the thing where he's like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And Frank comes running in, and it's funny because he's just
he has a belt fed, bro. He literally has a belt fed.
He's running in screaming, and he like runs past him until he like gets him to drop Peter. I think Peter like kicks off or does something to get free, and he keeps running and shooting just until he's over by Peter.
And he runs out of ammo. He's like, oh shit.
And he's like, I should have brought a bigger gun. And
I love how this is always just like his solution to everything is just a bigger gun, bro.
His solution is always more violence. Because if I'm not mistaken, once Peter finds out who Jean is, Punisher's in the room, and he's basically like, "No, dude, she is dangerous.
Yeah.
Look, man, you're gonna try this whatever way. If I get in there, we're solving it my way.
Exactly.
I'm gonna shoot her."
Exactly.
And yeah, so he runs over to Peter. And Peter is saying, like, why are you here? You were supposed to be at home watching MJ. And he's like, well, she told me to come here and watch you. And
that's real.
Peter's like, wait, she did?
Yeah.
But, yeah, at that point, they remember they're fighting the Hulk. And Peter actually says, like, okay, but you should still be out of here. Like, this is way above your pay grade, bro. This is the Hulk we're fighting.
Yeah. They're like, all right, we got to make a plan.
Which is funny to me because I feel like Peter should, like this is way above both you guys' pay
grades.
Yeah,
I was going to say, the Hulk is he's a different breed.
But I think it's because Spider-Man is always above his pay grade. In
that is also true.
Like, even if he's strong enough for something, he's just always put in the most ridiculous situations. So he's just always above his pay grade, so it doesn't register. But he's like, Punisher, you should not be fighting the Hulk.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Punisher is dude with a Glock. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing here,
There's so many scenes where he cuts away and he's genuinely just walking around with a gun.
But
or he's got a drive where Peter is like already swung most of the way there.
So they're like hiding in a little like behind a table or something like that. They're like, all right, bro, we gotta figure out a plan. And the Punisher's like, all right, I'll go for the other threat.
I'll go get
you
the
take
girl,
care of the Hulk.
You take the Hulk. And
Spider-Man's like,
he's like, you just don't want to fight the Hulk, huh? And he's like, well, yeah.
Honestly, I don't blame him.
He kind of like has the realization himself. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But so Peter goes to do that, and then he stops, and he's like, wait, Frank. Don't shoot her. And they have the whole argument like, dude, do you have any idea how dangerous she is? Frank, this isn't the solution to everything. I'm doing this my way. Whatever, I'm doing it my way. Leave me alone.
Yes.
And
so he goes off to go whack her, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He's about to go exterminate.
He goes to genuinely try to slime out Jean Grey.
And Peter's like, don't get within 33 feet or you're gonna get cooked, bro. She's gonna take your mind. And he's like, all right, fine, whatever. So he goes to look for like literally frame one. She just takes his. She just
he walks up.
But in doing that, and body snatching him, she releases Bruce
which
Banner.
goes bad, and she realizes that because Bruce kind of starts to spaz a little bit.
Yes.
And he reverts back to normal. Actually, he's in control of himself.
Yeah.
Peter's like, okay, this is good. Like, let's get this thing back on you. Your suppressor, because she
broke
Bruce's suppressor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he gives him the universal suppressor he made, and
to stop the Hulk from coming out.
Bruce starts to like actually Hulk out, and at first it's an angrier Bruce. He's like, get that away from me. He just slaps it out of Peter's hand and goes flying across the room. And then he actually starts to Hulk out, and Jean tries to jump back.
He does also realize who Peter is now as well.
Yeah, because he basically
because they had that conversation about the suppressor earlier,
exactly,
and now he's actually developed
knows
it.
That only
so
Peter
now,
would know
exactly,
because of yada yada.
So
yada.
Bruce Banner now knows his identity.
Which also Peter gave Bruce a bad alias and said he was Ned Leeds, genius. Just giving everybody's names out but yours.
Exactly.
But so he realizes this is him. But more importantly, he's actually hulking. Jean tries to take back control and stop him from doing that. Except the Hulk is like, get out! And literally boots Jean from his mind.
Yep.
So he's becoming Savage Hulk again, whether we all like
and
it or
he's getting
not.
big, bro. He's actually turning to actual Hulk this time.
Yeah, the Hulk is back.
Yes.
Probably for the last time.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. It's rough out here. I can't lie. Hulk fans are actually starving, twin. I can't lie.
Yeah,
but anyway, so they get into a big fight, and obviously Spider-Man's just trying to like survive at this point.
Yeah,
honestly, bro. Mission objective: survive at this point,
grabbed,
bro.
He does get slammed around. It's pretty painful.
Yep, exactly. And meanwhile, during this fight, Punisher's being mind controlled into blowing up the vault.
Yeah, while this happens, Punisher's being mind controlled because Punisher was actually able to get Hulk off them for a second or two by throwing these like weird energy nade things that Damage Control had, and then shooting
like
one
plasma
when
grenades,
Hulk catches
kind of.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or when Jean controlled Hulk catches it.
So he's using these plasma grenades. He's like putting them on the door.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's gonna blow
the door out. Yeah, exactly. And so, and Spider-Man is being distracted by the Incredible Hulk at this point. So, and like he's doing a good job. Like he's
doing
using
a pretty
his webbing.
dang good job. He has his own version of Black Widow scene, like running down the hallway away from him.
Yeah. He's like webbing him so he slows down a little bit.
Exactly.
To the point he actually does pause. Like he can't run anymore.
He full on webs to the point that he actually gets caught, and then he does the Hulk clap, sending Spidey flying down the hallway.
Yeah. That was in the trailers as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So he gets Hulk clap down the hallway, and they have this big fight scene, whatever. But what pisses me off, man, is by the time, and this is a cool fight scene. I'm not gonna explain the whole fight scene, but like it's a cool fight scene. Go watch the movie, whatever. But dude, by the end of this fight scene, how does Hulk lose, Kel?
Oh man. Okay, so
This is the 7 millionth time he's been talked out of it. Like, bro, come on, man. Can we get something else,
I ain't
bro?
gonna lie, to
Can
be
we
the Hulk,
stop?
you ain't a
That's
very
what I'm
angry guy.
saying, bro. Like the chillest dude, bro. Like,
And
if
like
you,
we
if
all
you
know
just
deep
like,
down the Hulk wants to be left alone,
bro,
sure,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
if you're angry enough that you mutate into an 8
Bro.
foot tall green
Yes.
rage monster that can throw cars,
Yes.
it's not gonna be that easy.
To beat the Hulk in this universe, bro, all you have to do is look him into his deep green eyes and say, "I'm your friend, bro."
No,
and then
yeah,
he just
because
goes
that's
back
exactly
to
what he does.
Like, oh,
there's
brother,
this crazy thing where they
man.
go in and out of this building. Spidey
Yes,
tries
bro.
to get the inhibitor on. His skin is too thick.
And
He's
it's
the Hulk.
like maybe you could say that
I was hoping
the
they were gonna
Hulk
do-
isn't affected by the spell.
That's what I was hoping would happen, because that happened in comics when this happened. Except the Hulk in the MCU hasn't really gotten to know Peter, and that's not even what happened
exactly.
here.
I could even it would make more sense if like
And even
Peter
then-
showed up in Ragnarok and they met and had a good like they were like
Yeah.
friends, but that didn't happen. They
'Cause
don't really
Peter
have
wasn't
any
in
prior
space.
rapport. They literally don't have any prior rapport.
They
I don't
they don't
even
know each other.
Do they even? They don't know each other.
Like, because Civil War, Hulk wasn't there for
Yeah.
it. And then in Endgame, the most you get is that Peter is brought back after the snap. So, yeah, technically they fought on the same battlefield, but there were literally at least 1 million bodies out on that battlefield.
Yes,
So
exactly.
God knows
So it's
they never
like-
actually saw each other. I guess in the years since, like, but no.
Yeah,
Let's be
it just
realistic,
it didn't
no.
really.
'Cause
It's
Hulk
like
hasn't
dude,
been an
alright, bro.
Avenger.
You know what I
really,
mean?
there hasn't been an
Yeah,
Avengers.
yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
But basically, honestly, and it doesn't even feel like, I don't even think it was Hulk in that case, because if it was Hulk, the Hulk would just be like, oh, sorry, I guess I don't need to be fighting you.
Yes.
I'll go, like, either leave or go fight Jean
Yes.
with you or do
Yes.
something.
But
But
he
it's Bruce
just-
taking back control, because he, like, slowly stops and he kind of steps back.
Yeah, he's
Basically, at this point, Spidey has webbed a crap load of building materials onto him that were making it harder for him to reach
like,
him.
yeah.
And he just kind of gives up on resisting.
Yeah,
And
so he
lets
just
himself
falls off the
fall.
building. Yeah.
He falls, reverts to normal.
Yep. Exactly.
Um,
But it's like I'm so tired of Hulk
also,
losing
this
like that,
movie-
bro.
This movie treats Hulk like he is a monster, when, again, the MCU has thoroughly established at this point that the Hulk is not. Like,
Exactly.
and I get the Hulk, forcibly taking over Bruce, because, I mean, he's been in the sunken place for the past decade or some
Yep,
crap
yep,
like
yep.
that.
Exactly.
But, again, as soon as he takes over, like, he just starts rampaging on literally anybody, and it's like, yeah, Peter doesn't deserve that, and, like, he is just kind of destructive, and it's like, I thought we were past this. Like, I thought we developed the Hulk's character. He's a personality.
Yep.
He doesn't, he's not a monster, but in this movie, he's definitely treated like just blind monster.
Yeah, exactly.
And that
So,
really sucks.
Just threw away some character development, whatever. Sure.
Like,
it
what
ma-
was
it
even the
makes
point
the
of his
movie
whole arc?
push. Yeah, it makes the movie
Genuinely.
go forward. So whatever. So we get to the scene where the Punisher, the mind-controlled Punisher, has already blown up the bank, or the vault, or not
Yep.
the bank vault, but
And Bill
the
actually
vault.
tells his guys, like, hey, we're not using lethals here.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Punisher, so he is, even if he's mind control.
Yeah,
He
the
walks in,
Punisher
he
just
shoots
starts,
a couple of guys
yeah,
in their
just
legs.
kneecapping people. Bro.
Yeah, and then Jean walks in behind him and is like, now you're going
Yeah.
to drop your guns, or the next ones are going in your heads.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, Spidey's already done dealing with the Hulk, so he comes back, webs the gun to the wall, and
webs
kind
against
of saves the
wall,
day or whatever.
Neck respects
Yep,
Jean
yep.
with the
slaps
Jean
the inhibitor
suppressor.
on there. Yep, exactly. So Jean loses her powers. She's super pissed about that. Not a fan.
Yeah.
And then
I wouldn't
he's
be
already
either.
webbed it to her neck, so she really can't get it off at this point. She gets taken into custody, whatever. Cool.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
then
she gets
She gets
shot
darted.
with
She
a
gets
tranq.
darted. Yeah. And then right before she
Peter
goes
webs,
out-
the Punisher's gun before he like when he's swinging in to do that. So
Yeah,
Punisher's gun is kind of webbed
exactly.
to the wall,
Yep.
so he's not a threat.
Yep, exactly. And as soon as he puts the inhibitor on, he's back to normal. Anyway,
Yeah,
so it doesn't
Punisher wakes up and he's like, "Is that my gun?"
matter. yeah. But right before she gets knocked out by the sleeping dart, she says a name. And it's
Sarah.
Sarah, exactly.
She just says Sarah in Peter's arms because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
goes to catch her.
And so Peter's like, he asked, was it Bill?
He asks
or-
Bill,
Yeah.
"Who is Sarah?" And he's like, "Oh, that's someone I worked with a while ago who passed away." I
Mhm.
guess when she got in my mind, because she did momentarily get in Bill's mind to try and open the vault
Yep.
because he was kind of refusing.
Mm.
But yeah, he's like, when she got in my mind, I guess that memory affected her somehow.
Yep, exactly. And so she's, I don't know. So Spider-Man's like, okay, fine, whatever, sure. I guess she was just bugging. I don't know. So they have her in custody now. Damage Control has her in custody.
Yeah.
And Peter goes back, whatever, and goes to talk to Punisher,
Mhm.
right? And Punisher was like, oh, no. He goes back to,
No,
he
yeah,
goes back
this
to
is when he
the,
goes back
thi-
to-
no, that was rough,
this is when
bro.
things get
This is
painful.
the,
He
bro,
goes
this
back
is
to the
pain.
Punisher's boat
Yes,
home thing,
yes, bro. He
and he
goes
talks
back
to
to the boat
MJ.
home, bro. And MJ's sitting at the table with the letter, dog.
He literally walks in and she's just looking at it.
The letter that he wrote after No Way Home. The letter that's like trying to get him to get her to remember him.
Time.
Exactly. And so she's read the thing, and essentially at this point now she knows that they used to be together, and she doesn't remember any of this because the spell worked. And they're talking about this, and she's like, "All right, well, you got to take your mask off because I deserve to talk to Peter Parker about this.
From me, so I deserve to talk to Peter Parker."
Yeah, exactly. And she's upset because essentially he's made this choice for her of letting her forget him.
To know.
Exactly. And not bringing it back up, and she's already moved on and whatever.
And honestly, the scene is it's played in a way that makes it a little bit more painful on top of that, because she doesn't immediately say, "Oh, she doesn't remember, she doesn't know him," whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like she's just saying, like, I deserve to talk to Peter Parker.
Exactly.
You know, I gotta take off the mask. And when he takes off the mask, she kind of reaches a conclusion, and she says,
"She just got nothing, man." She's like,
she says,
I actually don't remember you.
This girl loves you. She starts talking about, like,
he confesses his love to her.
First. Yeah. He says, like, all this time I was doing it to protect you because I love you. And he's like, well, or she says,
he's like, I literally can't even imagine life without you. Like, I'm just cooked without you. Like, if I don't have you in my life, it's like life is just not worth living. And then she's like, well,
I don't love you. I don't know you, because she starts addressing her past self as this girl, like in this letter.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
Like, she loved you. I'm sure.
Exactly.
And
like, to her, this is an entire different version. This is a whole different person.
She sees this as another person, basically.
Taking that memory out essentially changed her as an individual. She's now living a whole separate life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's okay with that life. She's not like she's not like missing him or anything like that. You know what I mean? She has nothing to miss. She literally does not remember him.
So the whole thing about her waiting on something, no, not actually.
Exactly. So there's no like magic kiss that's gonna bring the memories back. It really doesn't.
Jean Grey was right when she made fun of him for believing in that.
Yeah.
Still a crazy.
He is literally
moment.
not occupying any of her brain matter. Like, he's just not in her head at all.
She even says, like, there's like no ounce of memory in here for you. I've got nothing. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. GG's. So he confesses her love, and she's like, literally, I don't know you, I don't love you, and I also need.
Just says thanks, wishes him the best, and walks away.
Yeah, and then she comes back because she needs a ride home.
Yeah, she doesn't have a phone right now.
So essentially, he has to swing her back home, and it's just a silent swing back home, bro. That's the most silent trip back home, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is number 3 Kendrick Lamar "You Scream." Like, it's so brutal, bro. It's just like, dude, you can just see, bro. Like, he just wants to cry, bro. He just wants to cry, bro.
There's actually so many moments in this movie where you definitely see it in Peter's face. He just wants to break down and freaking cry, and he doesn't.
Yeah, Tom did a great job acting with this film. But anyway, so he swings her back, the most silent swing back, and back to like their apartment building or whatever, and she lives with Ned. Sad. So she like, she sees that he's like clearly sad about this. Like, she's not like heartless, you know what I mean? She does obviously still care about him.
She's actually pretty cool about
I don't think I don't know.
She cares about him because he's a good person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
she can tell that he's a good dude. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's kind of just basic human decency.
Yeah,
she has that for sure.
And so she's like, "Oh, do you want to like come up and like talk to Ned?" And because she knows also that Ned is his best friend, and
Ned has been dying to meet Spider-Man.
Yeah. Ned's a mega Spider-Man.
Yeah, so
fan.
when he showed up to their apartment in the party early in the movie, Ned actually had a whole map of, like, he was trying to figure out who Spider-Man was.
Yeah, and he did not have
saved by him several times. Yeah, he every time it shows up, he's like, "I swear I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not weird." And then MJ's like, "He's a little weird." But basically, he's like, because he saved me so many times, I want to find out who he is, just to kind of know, and then hopefully to thank him something.
Yeah, exactly.
And he narrows it down to Flash Thompson and like their science teacher, which is hilarious.
Anyway, they go. He goes up to the apartment, and then he actually gets to meet Ned as Spider-Man. He doesn't take the mask off or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they instantly have like the best friend chemistry.
Yeah,
you know
that's the cool part. Like, Peter never takes off the mask, but they're kind of back like they never left.
Yep, exactly.
Like, they're back making the references and jokes they used to make and stuff like that. They're bouncing off each other already. They're both having a great time, clearly.
Yep, exactly. So, they kind of... Peter actually gets a break, bro. He gets a small reprise from all this stuff that's been going on, all the horrible stuff that's been happening to him. He actually also tells MJ that he kissed her while she was being
he does. And honestly, like, I just think that just speaks to, him being a good character.
Yeah, exactly. He's a good dude.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ned basically at one point gets up to walk away because he ordered them all food. Nice. And, like... At one point, I think MJ asked, like, didn't you order, like, you ordered whatever place again? And he's like, oh, yeah, like, Spider-Man came by the apartment. He's not leaving without getting fed.
That's real.
And W-Mans.
Yeah.
So he does that. He walks off to the door. And yeah, Peter confesses.
Yeah, they kind of have a small conversation. On the side,
look, while Jean was controlling you, she kissed me, and yeah, I kissed her back.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I thought it was you. I thought you were remembering me.
Exactly.
And MJ is like, oh, like, well,
I don't
thanks for
remember
telling me
anyway,
that, but
so-
I didn't remember a thing.
Yeah, we're chilling.
And
she drew a little picture.
yeah. Oh man, so it's a cool thing. Before that part, actually, they kind of reflect on how like, wow, like, you know, MJ's like, I can tell you guys are best friends, and Peter's like, this is great. Like, this is the best time I've had in years. And MJ drew this super nice picture of them. It's Peter without the mask. He's still in the Spider-Man costume, but he doesn't have the mask on. Which I'm like, geez, she has ridiculous facial memory to have drawn him from seeing him one time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks perfectly accurate. But yeah, it's him and Ned palling around. It's really nice.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, you guys look like best friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that was a nice little thing for Peter.
It was very nice
to be able to relax for a little bit.
And then he confesses about that weird kiss they had. Or I guess sort of did and didn't have, whatever. The ethics of that are gray, Jean Grey. And yeah, she mentions how she doesn't even remember it. And then Peter is like, that's weird because when Bill told me she went in his mind, she got some memories, and he stops and he's like, Bill was lying.
Yeah, Bill lied. Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, I thought he was going to give a different reason for believing that, because at first I immediately thought it was strange, but I was going to say that I thought his reasoning for believing was that when Jean jumped into his head, he went into his little memory room with Aunt May. But I guess that's where the spider sense took him.
Yeah, exactly. Like no, for normal people, you just lose.
Yeah,
it's like getting knocked out.
Exactly. You just wake up after whatever Jean Grey has used.
There's literally nothing in between.
Exactly.
And so
I thought his assumption was everybody went to a little memory room. But yeah, either one works. I think it's actually kind of good that those two things will kind of corroborate each other there. Yeah. Either way, it gives Peter a good reason to actually believe him and not just.
So now he's suspicious of Bill.
Exactly.
Which
he should be.
Yeah, exactly. So we cut back to Jean Grey in the facility, where she's kind of being tortured. I'm not gonna lie.
She was captured by Spidey. Well, with the help of Spidey earlier, and unfortunately, she has been taken by Damage Control to God knows where. And they sat her down in this weird room. She's locked to this chair, except the room looks weirdly homey.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to get her comfortable or whatever. So she's like willing to cooperate or whatever. But then Bill comes in there and talks to her, and she's like, "Yeah, well, where's my sister? I want to know where my sister is. What are you trying to do?" And essentially, he kind of explains his evil plan. Another exposition dump, where he's like, "Oh yeah, well, essentially, you have brain patterns whenever you jump to people, and we want to learn how that works. So we're gonna essentially force you to do a bunch of exactly.
Yeah, so literally, their thing is they like put up this weird kind of pattern on like the kind of area around her that I guess forcibly stimulates that in her brain.
Yeah, the jump pattern.
To make her jump out of her body at will a whole bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of terrible.
Yep. And
really terrible.
Yeah, as she's jumping, they're trying to like track and like screenshot her brain and see if they can figure out what
to see how they can induce it in somebody.
And see if they can get someone else to
make
do the jump.
random people able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then they want to use it for their own reasons, which could be nefarious, could be helpful, whatever. So essentially, they're trying to steal her powers. Yeah, they're trying to scientifically replicate her powers, which is, I guess, an interesting premise. But with that being said, they start spamming it on her at max power.
She's, like we kind of said, when someone jumps, their body like kind of thrashes in like one motion, and you just see poor Jean Grey just sitting here, just like her head's just flopping all around.
She's really getting pummeled,
she's getting like she has no time in her own body. It's kind of it's really terrible to watch, and it's kind of, I don't know, so I was kind of expecting it to be like typical torture movie scenes where the character starts screaming, obviously. And it was almost a little bit more messed up than that because she's dead silent. She can't say anything. She's not in her own body.
Yeah, exactly.
She's just bouncing around mentally. And it's like, it's kind of screwed up.
Yeah,
because
exactly. And it is hurting her, too.
Yeah, exactly. In the very few moments between where you see her actually stopped in her own body, like she's barely conscious, like super lethargic and everything, and it looks terrible.
Yep. And as she's doing that, her head kind of rolls back, and she looks up, and she sees the VMAX, bro. And it's literally just Vent Max, which is the vent above her head, which is like an air vent.
Yeah, it's just the brand.
Yeah.
Except the sticker's kind of messed
Peel
up
so
that the ENT are disappeared,
exactly.
so it's just V and then Max.
And the way that she got the word VMAX kind of like told to her in the first place is her sister sent out a signal with the word VMAX.
Same experiments. Yeah, it turned out that whatever it did,
it was like
actually,
a telepathic signal.
Yeah, it boosted the output on her because normally they have a very small radius. But it boosted the output on her sister's power.
Yeah,
and she was able to send out a signal VMAX.
Yeah, exactly.
And Yeah.
And she looks up and she sees VMAX and she realizes in that moment that VMAX was the last thing that her sister saw.
It wasn't a secret code or anything. It was her sister's dying thought.
Exactly.
All she could do was just it was just the last thing she saw and could even comprehend. Just transmitted out at full output, and
which is phenomenal writing, by the way.
It's phenomenal.
I got to hand it to the writers.
Brutal twist, especially because like the whole scene, she's kind of been on and off looking at this scrunchie on the table, which it turns out was her sister's
scrunchie.
Because her and her sister seem to both have this thing where like, when they're basically prepping to use their powers, they tie up their hair for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. But, it's kind of interesting. You get a flashback scene to when they were kids and her sister kind of protecting her because her sister got...
on how to use it.
When they were kids, which is crazy because they've had her sister for so long. When they were kids, her sister for such a long time. When they were kids, it's the scene where they're in the park. They're maybe like 10, and they were talking about how their mom abandoned them, or whatever, and they're kind of practicing using their powers.
She explains to Jean how you basically compensate for the lack of range on their telepathy
by jumping between
people.
Yes.
By like picking someone closer and basically following a path to who you want to get.
Yeah, and they kind of theorize like, oh, once we get really, really good at using our powers, we could technically control multiple people. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, okay, cool. Well, that's setting something up. And she's like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm gonna go get you some ice cream. Her sister goes and gets her some ice cream, walks down the path or whatever, and then like 7 squad cars just pull up, hit her with a trank dart. They snatch her.
It's insane.
Yes. And Jean Grey was gonna run up and help. But the sister's
sister
like,
makes one of the most devastating sacrifices I've ever seen. It's like
controls her body and tells her to run.
Literally, she telepathically tells her, "I'm sorry, but I have to protect you."
Yeah, exactly.
And so she jumps into Jean and just turns and walks away.
Yeah. Which is kind of a plot hole in the movie because you'd think if they know that the sister can do it, then they would know that Jean could do it, and they were literally just sitting next to each other. So it's like,
it is interesting how.
And they saw her running towards too, so it's like. Whatever. We'll hand wave it. Whatever. But that is kind of it was like a kind of lazily written scene.
Especially since later on it was Damage Control who scrubbed all of Jean's records. Meaning
so
had these records.
Yes. You knew that there was 2 of them. Why'd you take 1? I'm confused. Whatever. Yeah. I was thinking of the movie for me, but whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. After some of the stuff we've gone over, I may have to bring the movie down to a 7.
Yeah, and that's why I started kind of, I was in the car thinking about it. I was like, whatever. But anyway, so. With that being said, we're back. We jump back to Jean Grey getting still pummeled by this machine, and exactly. And she looks like she's about to die, pretty much. They're spamming it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. It's genuinely ridiculous. I think like basically 30 seconds after they explain what it is and start it up, they're already saying that she's on like jump 30. So this is actually constantly happening.
Yeah, but she now has the knowledge that her sister was killed by Damage Control, and so she goes ballistic. She essentially supercharges.
I was gonna say because this whole thing it is actually amplifying their abilities in order to do this to them. So she kind of has enough.
Yeah. So she pops her ult, bro. She literally just like still like she essentially like stops everyone in like a giant radius, like the radius of like a mile or 2. She literally freezes everybody. Yes, exactly, and everyone can like feel her mental anguish while they're in this frozen state as well.
Because like it cuts away to MJ and Ned who are actually frozen. And like you just see MJ just starting to cry because she's just feeling this.
Yep.
They still have no idea, but they're just feeling that.
And Punisher's trying to help.
Yeah,
he's just driving down the street.
He's
what
like
are you doing,
whipping
bro?
down the street to try and help because him and Peter were arguing about it. As Peter's kind of swinging his way there, and he's like, "Dude, if I show up there, I'm shooting her." And they argue about it again, and Peter's like, "Well, I'll beat you there anyway." And Punisher's like, "Yeah, well, I'll find my way," because he's using the Spidey
he's
tracker
literally
app.
Just driving.
Because there's a Spidey tracker app that Ned made. But he's just driving, and then he just sees this weird kind of wave of psychic energy, I guess, go wash over the city, and he sees all the people behind it frozen. And so he's just trapped on the outside. He's not gonna step in there and find out what happens.
So, but anyway, before we get to that, prior to her popping her ult, we have a scene of Spider-Man fighting his way into the compound to save her.
Yeah, you get that nice scene from the trailer. Because
at this point he realizes that Bill lied, and he needs to go save her because she's actually the victim here. It's not actually like Damage Control is not the good guy. Yeah, he realizes this. So he goes to go save her, and essentially he's confronted by
all those goons out front.
No, she did pop her ult already because she can control them. Oh, she's
No. They fought him just on the orders of Bill. Remember, because they actually were saying to him like, "No, like you're not allowed in here, yada yada yada," and he was like, "I thought we were cool."
Oh, I was talking about the hand, but yeah, no, you're
Oh
right.
yeah, yeah.
No,
I'm
you're right.
talking
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
gun
yeah.
guys.
He's like
'Cause
fighting. Yeah, he's
we
fighting
saw the
Wayne.
scene
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
trailers. The guys at the door with the gun, and he's like, "I thought we were cool. Come
Yeah,
on."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
He beats
does
them
this whole
easily.
stretching thing.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not in
beats
high
them
school
easily.
anymore.
Yeah.
He beats them.
Those guys are freaks. But once
They
he
were.
actually gets into like the compound, he has to fight the hand, and that's after
Yeah.
she
Now
pops the
at
ult.
this point, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
after she's done her
Yeah,
big
she
thing.
pops her ult. He's not affected.
Yeah, he hasn't even noticed it happen
yeah,
yet because
yeah.
it didn't affect him.
Yeah, exactly.
So he just walks into this room thinking everything's normal, except that whole bunch of hand goons who Bill supposedly reformed are all just
they're all
standing there.
simultaneously being controlled by her, and because they're all literally connected at one hive mind, they're way more
They
effective
fight
at
at
fighting.
maximum efficiency.
They're putting
it's insane.
belt. They're putting belt.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
Like at
bro.
first, it's like they're still the hand, and Spider-Man's still stronger, but their synergy is
Yeah,
actually insane.
And this is like he still has his inhibitor chip in, so he's at like his normal base power, and he's getting whacked because they have specific weapons to beat him.
Yeah, because Damage Control designed a bunch of weapons to fight Spider-Man, specifically these like pulse blast things that basically just dissipate his webbing on contact. They made like these kind of unique stun rods and stuff like that.
So they're beating him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
bro.
they actually
like,
start pulling some.
He's trying to hang, but he's
combos.
getting cooked, bro. And it's like he's kind of like, I don't know. The mutation thing is still trying to like kick in a little bit, but it's not really because the inhibitor is still working.
Exactly.
It's like
more so that it's just kind of staggering him.
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
just slowing him down when he doesn't need it to be.
Yeah, exactly. So he's getting cooked, and essentially they start breaking his they like use his little stomach.
Yeah,
they're
breaking all his gears. So, they break his web shooters.
Yeah.
They like one of them gets like cut specifically, I think, and they're breaking that stuff.
Yeah, and the hand is really just cooking, man. They're moving different.
Actually going crazy. Like at one point he like tries to like jump up, and they literally. A bunch of them act as hurdles on the ground, and they jump in the air, allowing one guy to jump off of them. Like steps midair, so they're actually able to chase Spidey up a
they're
wall.
Cooking, I can't lie.
A bunch of insane crap like that. Meanwhile, Jean, her telepathy has gotten so powerful, it's actually developed into full-on telekinesis. So she's able to pick up Bill and drag him over to her, and now she's gonna start threatening his life.
Yep, exactly. So, anyway, so essentially they get to a point where they've beaten him so bad that Oh, you're good. So essentially he's getting beat so bad that he kind of just surrenders himself, and his web shooters are broken. So Jean is speaking through the hand members, and essentially she's asking him like, you have to choose. Like the world's never gonna accept you as you are. You have to pick if you want to be Spider-Man or if you want to be Peter Parker. Yep. And he kind of understands that like. I don't
what
have
she's
to.
getting
Yeah,
at.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he understands what she's getting at, and he like sits there and thinks about it for a second. He's like, I don't have to choose. Like he kind of heeds what Bruce Banner was saying. Is like, oh, like this transformation that you're going through, this mutation, is not necessarily a bad thing. Which I guess is how the movie portrays that, like, the mutation is not necessarily bad, like, but then the side effects just go away, which is I don't really like.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and
so
also what I was kind of thinking all this time, because Jean does this whole long speech, and it's like obviously it's we know how these things work. The third act villain speech is supposed to push the hero to realize the lesson of the movie. But is it just me, or was Jean being awfully suddenly supportive and nice to Peter at this point? Like it seemed like she more or less wanted him to do this.
Yes, and I think that was because he came to save her.
Yeah, but like
Which
at
she
this
didn't
point,
really
she
care
was
about,
more
but-
than content to kill him.
Yeah,
Hence why she's had these guys cutting and beating him.
Yeah,
all
but I
this
think
time.
she became a lot more sympathetic towards him because he did come to save her, and he realized that she wasn't necessarily the issue, even though she is.
Because I was gonna say, and if I'm not mistaken, I forget, but basically,
but she's a victim in all of this.
Yeah,
I guess, and
when
he
she's talking
understood
to him
that.
through the hand, guys. He does apologize and like admit that he was wrong and whatnot. I forget what she says, but pretty much it's her way of stomping on that olive branch.
Yeah, exactly.
it's like,
she does
why are
dismiss
you
it, but
giving
then
him
she's a lot
this-
nicer to him.
Why
I
are
don't
you
know.
giving him the motivational speech he needs to hear right
Yeah.
now when he, you're trying to kill him?
Yes.
Like,
And this is one of those scenes where I cited. I think that this movie is all over the place, and not necessarily always in a bad way, but it is kind of all over the place.
yeah, because I'm
Not
like,
gonna
that
lie.
was the moment where I was
With
like,
the messages that it's trying to send, or the things that it's trying to portray through the characters, right?
yeah,
It's like you insinuate the entire movie that these mutations have side effects, which is why he's trying to get rid of them. But then when he just allows the mutations to just do its thing, then it doesn't really have any side effects. So it's like, why would present itself in a
Yeah.
problematic way in the beginning? Because he was overly aggressive, and we saw that. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
And then when he allows him, when he takes his inhibitor off in this scene and he starts fighting them, he's like holding back. He's not hurting anyone. So it's like,
yeah, he's like doing it. It's like he's using his full strength, but he's doing it perfectly calculated, so
Yes.
as not to be more lethal
Yes,
than necessary. Like this
exactly.
one guy, he punches punches through the air, and he almost lands on something sharp. But
and he saves him. It's like
he webs with like perfect precision
before,
to catch him.
Yeah, but it's like before the mutation didn't have like the mutated version of Peter did not have that inclination to save people at all.
Yeah,
and that was the issue. Yeah. So it's like now it does. So it's like.
I think that's kind of what he meant by being both, is that somehow he is able to reconcile and not, see them as two separate things. My biggest gripe in this scene is just, why does Jean suddenly want to see Peter be his best self when up until now she just wanted him dead or gone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's what I don't
Before
understand.
this, she was acting like he was a nuisance, and now she's trying to be all supportive.
Because like most villain, speeches that inspire the hero to learn the moral of the movie, it's the villain just chanting how wrong they are about it and trying to force that belief onto the hero, forcing them to realize, no, it's not like that, and I can beat you because of that. But no, here it's like I could literally imagine what Jean Grey is explaining to him coming out of like Aunt May's mouth, basically.
Yes.
Like that's the message. Like she's just saying like, hey, you got to accept both sides of yourself.
Yep.
The only real difference is that I guess she tries to make him choose, but it's like, I don't know. Her speech really seems like it's actually her trying to get him to do this, which she absolutely would not want in this case, because then he would be able to handle this situation.
Yeah. I don't know. And it was also the interesting thing to me is also she wanted him to choose Spider-Man. She wanted him to succumb to just being the full mutant version of Spider-Man.
That's what I'd say.
And then in that fight, before they start fighting, he does. He lets the full Spider-Man mutation come out. His eyes go black, and then she attacks him. So it's like, he did what you wanted.
Exactly. Like, I'm not sure what Jean's.
Am I missing something? Like, Twin, he literally he just said, okay, I'll accept my mutant side. And then you just start trying to beat him up.
Because, her whole thing is, she just wants to kill these damage control guys real bad. Everyone else is kind of in the crossfire.
Yeah.
I don't think she intends to keep everyone in this kind of mental limbo, but there's no knowing. I don't even know if she knows that it's up. I mean, she has to feel all those minds, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically, it's really unclear what Jean really wants or is even trying to do at this point.
Yeah, her motivations just start to get super. After she finds out that her sister are dead, her motivations just turn into, and it's like, I don't know.
I could get her, her just
revenge, I guess?
Yeah, I'm like, I get it, her losing and going for revenge, but it's like, okay, why are you freezing all these people? What do you want out of Peter here? Because up until now, you wanted either to kill him or to get him out of your way. Now you want him to embrace the monster in him.
Yeah, it's like, all right, man.
You were just using it as a weak point to jab at.
All right, yeah, it's like,
so it's
sure,
like,
man.
what do you want from him? Or in general.
Jean Grey, figure your shit out. But anyway, so he beats all the hand people or whatever, and then he bashes himself into like the room that she's in, and at this point she has Bill held hostage with a bunch of glass floating around his head, he's like Doctor Strange from Infinity War.
Yeah, he's got all the glass floating around his face.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
One false move, he dies.
Exactly, and she literally says that if you move closer, I will literally kill this guy, and all the people around me as well, I will kill them as well, because she has control of their minds. I guess she can just turn their brains off. I don't know, whatever. So at this point, Punisher's like, all right, I gotta do something.
Punisher has figured out his method.
He man with gun. He literally walks up a staircase with his giant sniper rifle.
Has a massive sniper rifle. And he's actually lining.
Hey, bro, 7.62 by 54 has never done me wrong. Anyway, so he's got a sniper rifle. He's dialing in. He's zooming in on her position. He's about to get bro. He's doing it his way. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't blame him. At this point, she has literally gone way past what is acceptable. She's literally taken an entire city
quite
hostage.
Extreme. I'm not gonna lie.
You're bugging.
Even at the guy with the car, I would have been like maybe she doesn't have to die, but you're clearly not on the good side.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't misunderstood.
Yeah. She's objectively, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Punisher, I'm doing the same thing. I can't lie, bro. She's objectively a bad person in this film right now, and you have done nothing from the Punisher's point of view to redeem yourself at all. And he doesn't even know
Punisher
that
doesn't even believe in redemption.
Yeah, exactly. And Punisher doesn't know that the damage control is even bad. So it's like, at this point, you're just holding people hostage. I'm about to whack you. This is a hostage situation with 3,000 hostages. So it's like, you know what I mean? I'm about to whack you. I can't lie. I don't blame her, but I don't blame him. So anyway. So Spider-Man goes in and starts. This is another thing, bro. He just goes in there and starts to talk her down, bro. I mean,
that's what he went.
Yes,
I
know, but it's like I'm so sick of this, bro. Can we stop talking down villains in Marvel, bro?
So I feel like
can we go back to just punching them in the face, bro? I don't know. Sorry.
I feel like the only justified cases of it are literally this and the Thunderbolts, because Void was not.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And this one, she's definitely too far extreme, but Jean is supposed to be a misunderstood villain.
Yeah. Well,
but Red Hulk. I mean, I kind of get that one because he's a Hulk, but at the same time, we were promised to fight.
Yeah. This is the second time in this film that we're talking people down because the Hulk just got talked down too. Give me a break,
there is that one.
Come on. Anyway.
You could at least like I get it. The whole
Yes, I know.
I get it, but it's and I kind of see why they started doing that, because for a long time they were getting criticism for killing their villains in their movies too much. Yeah. But it's like there's middle grounds, dude.
I agree. But anyway, with that being said, Jean Grey and Spider-Man are talking it out, and she's a lot stronger at this point, so she actually can access his mind, and she tries.
First,
and
freezes him with like a mental way, so he can't move. He can still talk and everything.
He can still move a little bit too.
He like slowly turns his head towards her, and she says like, "Oh, she's a lot stronger than last time. She can get in his mind now." And honestly, I thought he was gonna be like, "So am I," and like break out of it.
No,
but no, he says, "Go on and try."
Yeah. And she essentially
better reply than I would have had.
She gets access to his little sunken place or whatever. And
it's actually pretty comfy.
Yeah, exactly. Aunt May's there, and she essentially has a conversation with Aunt May, and Aunt May kind of gives her the same speech.
Yeah, it's really
that
cool.
Peter got. Yeah.
I actually
just applies to her really.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm pretty sure her lines are actually the exact same ones Peter says up to a certain point.
Yeah.
When he's in that mental place having that conversation.
Yes. Her lines. Yeah. So it shows their parallel between her and Peter, and that they're not so different. And Peter's also kind of in that with her, like they're in his brain.
Yeah, and then Peter shows up in the corner of the room.
Yeah,
and he's like, hey, so he sits down, finishes Aunt May's spiel.
And her whole thing at this point, I guess, is because her sister died, she feels alone. And Aunt May's whole speech is about that you're not really alone. There are people around that can help.
Exactly.
Don't fake and don't try to do it alone because you have people. You have a support system, right?
And so Spider-Man basically says at this point, like, no, I'm genuinely alone. Even the man who no one remembers has his friends that he could try. He's got the Punisher of all people.
Yeah.
But she's genuinely got nobody. And so Peter's like, well, you got me.
Exactly, yeah. And at that very moment, my boy Punisher lets the 50 rip. You know what I'm saying? He's dialed in. He's already zeroed. He's tested the wind. You know what I'm saying? He's got the windage. He's got the elevation. He pulls the trigger. It's a good shot. You know what I'm saying? Right for the chest. And because Peter is now in his mutant form, he's at bullet speed.
Yeah, he basically they're in this kind of mental room. But Peter looks out, and like the hallway just extends into darkness really far, and then he sees a small flash.
Yep.
That being the rifle being shot. He sensed it from within his own mind. He jumps out and shields Jean's body from the bullet taking the hit.
He takes the bullet.
And she's really worried about him because that was a big bullet he used. And
he had the 50. I can't lie, bro.
Peter's like, no, I'm okay. And then he falls on the ground. He's not okay. His blood is pooling on the floor already.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely thought he was going to die.
That's what I thought too. I thought, oh my God,
for a moment there, I thought Spider-Man died.
Spider-Man,
and I wouldn't have been mad. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't have been mad.
I'm not gonna lie. That would have been a pretty spectacular way to end off his character.
Yes, I agree.
It really would have, and it would have been cool because then Miles Morales.
Yes, especially considering that Tom Holland is getting to the point in his career where he's kind of fed up with the Spider-Man thing. Not fed up, but it's been 10 years.
It's
been a decade.
He's ready to be
you know what I mean? I wouldn't be mad. So you know what I'm saying?
That would have been a pretty awesome send off.
Yes.
Especially because when he carries him into the hospital, like his body is so limp, dude.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. And the amount of blood that was pulling out when he got shot was crazy.
Like, you gotta be a mutant.
And that was a big gun to him.
That was a large.
But
bullet.
I guess the explanation is that Jean Grey cares about him now.
Yeah,
so
she
used her witchy woo stuff, and he is alive.
In Punisher's own words, she used her witch voodoo bullshit by basically jumping into his mind and kind of keeping something going in mind and body.
Yeah.
She keeps him alive because that honestly
telekinesis
should have killed him.
But anyway,
CPR.
Yeah, exactly.
She keeps him alive. He's out for like a day or two or something like that.
Yeah, he's down for a little bit.
And it's really nice because the whole city actually kind of corrals together, and they all are like desperately hoping that Spider-Man's gonna be okay. And like the news even goes on to say like this guy who's been protecting us all this time, the guy who like adults rely on and kids want to be, he's now in the hands of the best and brightest of New York.
Yeah, we haven't seen New York come together like this since the Knicks won the championship.
And then they tore everything apart.
Yeah. Well, this time it's love. Anyway, so he comes to. He's in the bed, and at this point, he doesn't have his mask on, obviously, because they had to do surgery. So they had to cut out the suit, and Punisher's next to him snoring.
Yeah, Punisher just slumped, and I'm like, dude, where's your guilt? But Punisher does actually promptly wake up, and he does, in fact, have the guilt.
He does.
That's actually a really cool moment that I was looking forward to seeing there for the Punisher.
Crazy friendly fire, by the way.
Yeah. But he actually is like tearing up because he never wanted to wind up hurting Peter in all of this.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because, Peter's like, oh, it's okay. And he's like, no, what I did was a lot of things.
Yeah.
It wasn't okay. And like I said, he starts tearing up.
His eyes water.
And Peter starts giving him crap because he's like, are you crying? He's like, no, I'm not crying, dude.
Let me tell you something.
It's honestly great because it might have been in the conversation with you about it, Odyssey, but I found out shortly before this that, like, John Bernthal and Tom Holland are actually, like, good friends.
Yeah,
in
they
real
are good
life.
friends in real life. Yeah.
And like so much of this script, just like I can feel it. Like this is two buddies who got to do something they really wanted to do.
For sure. And then essentially we get to the point where the movie's about to come to a close, and John's like, "Hey man, when you want to get out of here, I got an idea."
Because he can't swing out, no Spider-Man suit.
And so the next scene is Peter walking out with literally nothing on, and so he's just like, is he just exposing his identity to the world?
Yeah, because especially when he walks out, everyone's like, "Hey, Spider-Man!" And I'm like, "Oh crap, do they know who he is now?"
Yeah.
No, the Punisher has put on the mask that's left.
He's in the window,
like.
He's just in the window
doing this goofy happy dance to show like Spider-Man's okay, everybody.
Yep. And then Tom kind of just like fades into the crowd, all like obscure or whatever.
The kid does the Spider-Man thing at him. He does it back. It's really nice.
Yeah, exactly. And the movie's over, and that's nice. And then the after credit scene of this film is
Gene gets on a bus and goes away, but that
man, I don't really care. Whatever. But anyway,
not gonna lie, Jean was a better villain than a hero. I think she was honestly like if she were just to have been an evil villain, she would have been pretty spectacular.
I agree. And then they kind of just ended with a kind of flat on its face. But whatever.
Can't really make her sympathetic after that.
Yeah, exactly. And then end credit scene of this film is that the Spider-Man tracker that Ned made.
Yeah, it picks up another
one.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, in like space.
Yep. I'm calling it's either Secret Wars or like it's some multiversal madness because there's no other planet he's on. It's just the void of space somewhere above Earth.
Yeah.
And either Miles or someone from the multiverse or some Secret Wars stuff, which is also kind of the multiverse.
Yeah, but another thing is like the Spidey tracker is based on a security cam, the network of security cams and sightings.
Yeah, so I have no
who's
idea
in
how
space. Who's got a security cam in
it'd
space?
Be one thing if he had a tracker on Peter's suit,
I guess
which would be crazy, but he also doesn't.
I guess flight cameras really they got some funding, man. They got flight cameras in space now.
Literally, because like
they got CCTV footage in space. Hey, bro, you got to keep the space safe as well.
Like, kind of insane.
If you run a red in space, they'll catch you.
That's their way of saying Spider-Man will return, which did show up after that.
Exactly.
So, he'll be back.
So, anyway, with that being said, going through the whole film and kind of going scene by scene, what is your opinion now going through and kind of, we went through a couple plot holes. There's a couple bumps in the road. Throughout the film, I felt like the pacing was pretty good. I wasn't mad at the scenes.
I'm actually pretty content with the pacing.
But I
think the actors honestly kind of killed all of everything they were doing.
Yes, but I don't think this is going to be one I rewatch very often. Or at all. I think I'm going to watch this film one more time and be done with it.
Honestly, yeah, that tracks.
There's not that many scenes. It wasn't like really action focused. The action scenes that were in it were good.
There were
good
action scenes.
They were kind of just
not being action focused so much.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. But for a Spider-Man film, this had
honestly,
some of the weaker fights I've seen Spider-Man in.
If there's anything I would rewatch this movie for, it would ironically be
Punisher.
The scenes of Punisher, absolutely.
I love Punisher.
Every time he's on screen,
he's great. He's
especially his chemistry with Spider-Man is amazing here. It's fun
but anyway,
to watch them.
I'm gonna stop interrupting.
I did not think their vibes would mesh so well.
Yeah.
Again, I gotta say -5 for not having Daredevil in it.
I don't think they would have been able to fit Daredevil in this movie. They had enough trouble fitting what they did in. You know what I mean?
I think it would have been easier, say, if they went with Daredevil instead of Punisher or something. But
yeah, but that would have been less fun. So it's like, you know.
But then again, you could have Daredevil trying to be like freaking Batman.
Yes, but their ideas don't conflict as much.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So they wouldn't be bickering.
And that wouldn't raise that question.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't have Spider-Man.
It would have raised.
It
would have raised the choreography. I think the fights would have been cooler with Daredevil and Spider-Man fighting together. But we got plenty of time for that to happen.
Yeah.
Tom Holland didn't die.
I guess I'm just mad the Hand showed up with no Daredevil. Honestly,
I agree. The Hand didn't have to be in the film. They didn't have to.
I think honestly, any other collection of like superhuman goons would have done better, especially because the Hand are dangerous, yes, but this is still Spider-Man we're talking about. In all honesty, I was having a little bit of a hard time believing that they were taking him down.
Give us more Scorpion.
Yeah, I attribute it to their like superhuman, synchronicity or whatever. But yeah, more Scorpion or like maybe a bunch of Spider-Mans, like a pseudo Sinister Six, where like 4 of them are controlled by Jean to fight him at the end. That would be awesome.
I agree.
That would have been
I
pretty
agree.
awesome.
I think anything other than what they did with the hand would have been more cool.
Yeah, the hand had no place in this.
And
movie.
the hand fight scenes were cool, but they just could have been cooler.
But yeah, exactly. They could have been cooler. And again, like honestly,
give me Shocker. Why is Shocker not come back?
It frankly feels to me like everything since Netflix Daredevil has just not understand the hand as a concept.
I agree.
And what they are. Like,
yes.
These. I'm sorry. You cannot reason with the hand. Actually, they are. They either kill you or die trying.
Yes,
that's really how they work.
Yes, and it's like, why not give us a rematch of Scorpion, and then add the Shocker in there, and add Rhino in there.
Yeah,
Scorpion,
I was gonna say, especially
Rhino,
since, like, the
Shocker
Scorpion's
all together in that little final fight, and it's like Scorpion's pissed because you just beat up his unconscious body while he was being controlled by Jean Grey. I'd be pissed about that.
He's always gonna want to beat up
exactly.
Spider-Man.
On top of Rhino, we just got a little montage scene, and Shocker got a little montage scene, and it's like, throw them in the movie. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be mad at that. Give it a little fight 3v1. You know what I'm saying? And then same sequence.
Because honestly, if you take out the hand, then I feel no reason for Daredevil to be in there. So
exactly.
It all out.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's certain things in this film that one either didn't need to be there, or 2 were ham-fisted in there, or 3 just were there to shuffle things along. And it's like, when you think about it too hard, there are a couple plot holes in this film that kind of, they don't ruin it for you, but they do really water it down. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like, the film's over if the damage control people take Jean Grey as well. The film just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
there's so many things. I mean, if Bruce just wasn't a hodgepodge mess of a character over the course of the MCU,
exactly.
then half of this movie wouldn't happen.
If the mutation makes sense at all and there's actually an arc with it, the movie's a little better. I don't know, but it wasn't a bad film. That's what I'm saying. Like, I do think this is going to be one of those films. I think people are going to turn on it faster than they turned on No Way Home, and I think they're going to turn on it harder than they turned on No Way Home. I think this is going to be a great first watch. Second, third, fourth watch, you're like, this ain't the one.
Like, I agree. I don't know if people are going to see the kind of the beauty of the character work done here, because seriously, for all this movie's flaws, it does do some pretty great character work.
I think this is going to be a film that's going to be overhated in 5 years.
Honestly, I'm
calling
this. I don't know if it's even a hot take or not, but I don't care. It's my take, and I'm standing on it.
Real.
Every every Tom Holland Spider-Man movie is one of those. They all wind up overhated. Because for some reason,
not a bad take.
For one reason or another, someone hates every single one of the movies, and I'm sorry, it's always a bad reason if we're being honest.
I've been seeing a lot of claims online saying this is the best Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2. Do you agree with that?
See, I feel like there's just been good Spider-Man movies between those two. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 1 exists. Come on, let's not.
That's a crazy take.
Like, the villain had a bad motive, but that was still a great movie.
I think this film. We'll do a ranking one day, so I'm not even going to touch on it.
Yeah, we'll
get
around to it.
But this is
that's a good one.
This is a middle of the road Spider-Man
film.
This is a
good.
Perfectly serviceable.
Good.
I think this is a perfectly serviceable Spider-Man film. It's middle of the road. It's okay.
Pretty much. It's another. Good
it's not.
Made.
It's not.
Which
egregious.
honestly,
it's never egregiously bad.
Yeah.
It's never.
I think that's just become Marvel now. They make okay movies now.
Exactly.
I
don't think this is one of the best Spider-Man films, but I don't think it's one of the worst either. I think TASM 2 still takes the cake on that one. I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1 is not as good as this film. I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3 is not as good as this film. I think what do we got? I think that's pretty much it.
I was going to say, I'm sorry,
this sits right above
like
that.
I said, argue with your mom about it, but all of Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies are, in fact, good.
Yes.
Are they all, like, top 10? Maybe not, but they are all good movies.
Out of the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, where do you rank this one?
I'd say that's a good question.
I think this is above Far From Home. I think it's below No Way Home. I think it's below Homecoming. So I put it third.
Honestly, I don't hate that. Yeah,
3 or 4.
I could agree with that.
I put it at 3 or 4. Yeah. So
yeah, that works.
Yeah. I think this is.
I do got to rewatch the first couple movies because honestly, I feel like Homecoming has I don't know, just the fact that I don't know. I got to rewatch them to kind of see, but I feel like Homecoming is there's more in there that I want to kind of get into.
With this entire kind of synopsis of the film being something we just did, looking back at the film, do you agree with my claim that Jean Grey was a poor villain choice for this film, or do you disagree?
I think she absolutely she was a good choice, and I think she could have been a great villain. Period. I just think that they really just should have thought about what they were doing with her in the second half.
Yeah. Does Doc Ock work better as a villain in this film?
Absolutely.
Does Lizard work better as a villain in this film? Does Shocker work? You know what I mean? Like I'm not
I thought
even
you were saying like
that.
better
but
in
like,
their own films.
I'm just saying if you go with a more with what this film was trying to do with the groundedness, do you think that a more grounded villain would have worked better?
So what I think is that the end game of it could have probably done something where Jean Grey, basically due to this kind of mass mental freeze she's caused, that occupies most of her kind of mental power. So she's kind of forced to lean more on her newfound telekinetic abilities, and I think that could have made for a good final confrontation with Spider-Man.
Okay. Yes.
That's what I think
make it a more
done.
physical fight.
Because I absolutely
like that,
agree that this movie could use a final physical fight, and the
it's
hand
so
just
much
don't do
talking people down, and I'm so tired of that in Marvel movies, man.
Yeah.
I'm really getting sick of it. I can't lie, man.
I gotta agree with you.
It's
Every villain doesn't get to be talked.
That's
down,
what I'm saying, bro. And it's like
Jean
Grey has done some inexcusable things in this film.
Exactly. Now that's
And
the problem.
Spider-Man has seen her do inexcusable things in this film.
A lot of those have been either to him or just to mess with him.
Yes. Why am I reasoning it with you in the final act? I'm not gonna lie, slime time on sight. I don't care if you're a victim, bro. You are doing the most. You were literally just trying to harm people that I love on purpose. You had a whole monologue about it while I was going through it. On top of that, bro, like, dude.
Like had him like cradling MJ on the
That's
ground.
what
Like,
I'm
please
saying.
just stop.
That's what I'm saying. You're catching a nasty right
Crazy.
hook for that. Am I catching a bullet for you? No. Okay, maybe. Chill out.
I was gonna say because it's like I get it. Spider-Man is still gonna spare and save her, but
yes, of course.
Some hands definitely had to be thrown.
That's what I'm saying.
Some hands
bro.
had to be
So
thrown.
it's like,
especially because she just gets to just walk away with no real consequence.
Yeah, she's just on a bus going to
I was gonna say,
somewhere.
that's another thing. She's on a bus to nowhere for one.
You're
for
going
two,
to jail.
For two, she doesn't face any real consequences.
Yeah, you might be a victim, but you're going to jail. You're going to jail.
And on top
I don't
of
care.
that, it doesn't even make sense that she leaves because this whole movie is about don't do things alone. What does she do? Venture off alone.
Yes.
We just established like that
Yes.
Spider-Man's willing to help her through all this stuff. So she immediately separates herself from the one person she knows is on her side.
Yeah. So what's the point of the film then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like when you start thinking about it too hard, this film starts to piss you off.
Yeah.
Maybe not as egregious as Supergirl, but still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got that syndrome. You know what I mean? And it's like,
and that's too common these days.
yes, it is. And it's like the film was
I almost
shot
wish
well.
when the movies were pretty great and just killed their villains off too early.
I know, Black Panther. But
Yep.
but like it's like
that's the one I always think of.
Yeah, I know, same.
Oh,
but it's
and
like
Ultron.
the movie was shot well, the choreography was done well, the CG was good. It's like it was
of
a
cool
good
ideas. I definitely deserve their own, like more of their own time to shine because they didn't get finished.
But it's like the plot holes are there and they are prevalent and they take away from the experience if you think about it too hard. But it's like again, if you're going to this film for a summer flick with a bunch of action, you're not getting that. So it's like you're getting more of a character-based story.
It's like I feel like there is a place like unlike Supergirl.
But if you're gonna do a character-based story, don't have plot holes.
Yeah, but how do I put it? I feel like this.
Did they watch their own film?
I think this movie does have a place to kind of exist. I'm not gonna lie, Supergirl. I feel like that's one where it doesn't have a place. You know, it doesn't land in an action like a good action movie because the fights just aren't good. There's plenty that are not great. The characters aren't great, so that's not what you're here for. The plot's not airtight, so that's not what you're here for. This one, I think if you do just want to feel good, get into some feels with some characters, it can do that for you.
Yeah, which is why I gave this film a 7.5 and I gave Supergirl a 4. So it's like, they're different quality films, but they have the same issues. Just this film has a cold and Supergirl has COVID. 28, like, you know what I mean? It's like there's levels, you know what I mean? There's levels to this. The problems are a little bit different. I like the premise of the film. I liked what they were trying to do with the film. Did they succeed in everything? I don't think so.
Yeah, I almost wish they just doubled down on Jean Grey being
yeah. I don't think
she was really good at that.
There's a couple things that didn't really need to be in the film that were, and I think there was a couple things that weren't in the film that needed to be.
Or Bruce trying to teach us about ethics when he's basically sacrificing
exactly. It's like Hulk already had his arc, dude. Just throw him in there as a guy that's being mind-controlled and call it a day. We don't need a Hulk arc. You know what I mean? It's like
could have easily done that.
And it's like use that time.
You could actually have
to develop
Hulk
the other
Bruce
characters.
and Hulk being okay, and then just turning him savage for that one fight, and then just all right, he's done. Get ready.
Use that time to develop Jean Grey outside of a flashback scene. Use that time to develop Punisher more. Use that time to develop Peter's.
Well, Punisher I think was fine, honestly, because we already know him.
Exactly. We didn't really need that much. I'm just saying, use that
just
time,
to give that time
in
to
other
something
areas.
we like.
Yes, exactly. In other areas that the film needed that time to be in.
Yeah,
use that time to
expand
give
on
Ned
Peter's
some
mutation.
screen time. Holy shit!
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
It's like
actually be like a decent chunk of the heart of this movie, he
Yes,
actually doesn't get
that's
much.
what I'm saying.
Which, I kind of missed.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like I
'Cause his
do.
friendship with Peter really.
I
hits
will
here.
say I do like that they had the balls to leave MJ's relationship unresolved.
Honestly, I think
I like
that's,
that.
I think that's just about finished. I do think they're gonna double back, and it's gonna be real.
They ended
awkward.
them just not being together, and I was I was happy with that.
Oh, also at the very end, Peter comes back to the shop where he grabs some flowers, and saw Neto. He grabbed some more flowers because of course he did.
He got the signature dab.
Yeah, exactly. He shakes Ned's hand and then he just starts their dap up and Ned just instinctually goes through with it and then he's like, Peter?
Yeah.
And at first I was like, ha, bro power is stronger than relationships. But no, I realized Ned is kind of a sorcerer, remember? I think that's
You're
why.
not capping.
I think that's why he picked that up.
I was about to say something crazy.
What were you gonna say?
Your mind not my your mind your mind might not know me, but your body remembers me.
That's insane.
Crazy. Okay, let me chill out. I'm bugging.
Bro.
But anyway. MJ can't say the same, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I think MJ is over. I think we're either moving into Gwen Stacy land or I've been hearing they're looking at Indy Navarrete as Black Cat, which will get my butt in the seat.
Bro, can we please get an actual love story between Spider-Man and Black Cat, please?
I would love that. That would mean the world to me.
Like, there's so many instances where, like, Black Cat is just the move, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, maybe not because this MJ is not a useless hag, but I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like in a lot of Spider-Man games, Black Cat is just more useful than MJ.
Or I will absolutely take again the Gwen Stacy ending, especially because I just can't wait to see how they reconcile. Yeah, that was me in your clothes that one time. Look, I was being Spider-Man. It got complicated. I had to borrow a fit.
It's gonna be like one throwaway line in like the next.
That's good enough for me. I just think
second movie
I just
that
need
comes
to
out
see.
after this.
I just need to see Peter face
Yeah,
that awkwardness.
He's gotta face that, bro. The juicy.
You gotta carry that weight.
Yeah, he's not beating the juicy booty allegations, man.
He really had that on, dude.
Yeah, he did have that on, bro. He's rocking it too. But anyway, I think, like I said, I think I stand on the 7.5 here.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are glazing it. Online.
I haven't seen.
I've been seeing glazers, man.
I've heard some hate about it.
Really, the main claim is that
I haven't heard why.
Yeah, I've seen one thumbnail that said it was mid, and I saw a bunch of claims that this is the best Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2, and I don't believe that. But yeah, dude, it's good. You should watch it. Go watch it if you haven't watched it already.
Watch this movie.
If you made it so far this far in this video, you probably watched it already.
It does kind of kneecap itself, but it's definitely still an enjoyable ride.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. It limps at the end. The third act could really use a little bit of.
Yeah.
I think this movie maybe should have been.
I think like on the movie's own stuff because like the Tom and the Peter and Punisher stuff is it's not supposed to be the focal point of the movie. So I'd say like the best stuff this movie kind of brings you that is part of the focal point is Jean Grey as a villain. Unironically, she's actually kind of menacing.
yeah. No, they don't pull punches with Jean Grey being evil,
and
but
like she's actually pretty good at it.
Yeah, she is. She's a demon. Yeah, she really is.
And she's cunning and clever.
Yes. But it's like I almost wish this was like a Mephisto then instead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If they just stuck with
that, just would have worked.
Yeah, I think they could have gone full evil there and then done like.
That's what I mean by like Jean Grey just is not a good villain for this film. Like. Use somebody else, you know what I mean? Like, don't make it a anti-hero pseudo good guy thing. Just honestly, make it a bad. If you're gonna do that much, just make it a bad guy.
This whole movie, absolutely. Instead of doing the whole twist villain thing, they could have just had someone evil and just had another story about, hey, Jean Grey, like mutants are being grabbed for their stuff. Jean Grey and her sister, yada yada yada.
I absolutely agree with that. Yes, exactly.
Like the back half of this movie just belongs with a different front half.
Yes. Do you think with I think I know what they're doing here. I think no, actually no. I just figured it out. I just cracked the code.
Oh yeah.
Introduction of the X-Men is going to be kicked off with, like it's just a cliche with like the NPCs of Marvel just hating mutants.
Yeah.
I think this is going to start with that.
Oh yeah.
This kicks that off. Her mind controlling a whole town in New York. That's like not something people forget. We're just
gonna gloss over that time Scarlet Witch did that for like 8 months.
It's gonna come out. Yeah. We forgot about that. But MCU scrubbed that under the rug because it was a TV show and
because it wasn't the mutants, I guess.
Yep. So, but literally, I think what it is going to come up that she was a mutant, and then everyone's going to hate mutants because of that. That's going to be like the kicking off of it or whatever. Which is like fine, I guess, but I don't know. I think that's the only reason really for her to be doing bad things here as a mutant. I think that's the only thing really. And at this point, then does Spider-Man count as a mutant if he's got mutant DNA?
Well, the even like the scanner thingy, the scanner thingy called him like an enhanced human. So they're sticking with him in their enhanced category.
Whatever. Okay, I see what you're saying. Anyway, yeah, that's our
We
take.
forgot to mention, it was a scanner thing. They put Spider-Man in at the
Yeah.
damage control, and they were like, "Take off your mask, or we're gonna start shooting."
Yeah. I think we talked about that a little
and
bit.
then Bill walks in and is like, "Stop."
Yeah. But anyway, final verdict. I got 7.5 out of 10. You got?
I gotta agree. He's
7.5 out of 10. Okay, yeah, that's what we're gonna give it. I still think that this is a film worth watching. I think that MCU might be back. I think Doomsday is gonna be great. Doomsday being the next film is concerning, but they got to go somewhere.
I'm not gonna lie. Seeing this, and I'm not let down. Well, I'm a little bit let down by things in the film. Overall, I'm not mad at it, but it definitely isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But with that being the case, it does make me anticipate more of that coming from Doomsday. I can't say that I look forward to Doomsday quite as much because I figure, okay, this is it. Definitively, these two movies are going to be amazing. Look at what they planned for them.
Yeah.
There's no way, they're planned this out. They're going to cook. Seeing that they didn't quite, get that crisp golden brown on this one here makes me expect similar from Doomsday.
Exactly. Slightly underbaked. And the thing is that I think the reason that it was underbaked is because they had so much to cover in this film.
To do, and I honestly feel like
Doomsday has more.
Exactly.
And that's the issue.
More. And I feel like with the amount of moving parts in this movie, I think some things got shuffled around. You can't tell me there weren't plans for Daredevil to be involved at some point.
I think there was.
And it wound up being too much, especially with Hulk.
Yep, and they kept the hand in, but they got rid of Daredevil, or they just kept, I don't know.
Now, Punisher, I'm sure, was kind of like he was...
I think he was always going to be
in it. He was always going to be in it because, like I said, I firmly believe that this was John and Tom's, like, we want to do this.
Yeah, for sure. And if you would have kept it kind of like a buddy cop type movie,
them two, that would have been pretty cool.
I think that would have been better.
I'd like that.
I think that would have been a little better. But anyway, I digress. I'm not going to tell Marvel how to do their job. They make more money than I do. So, yeah.
They won't for a long though.
But yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not preying on your doom, Marvel. I love you guys.
Pun intended. Anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. That was our verdict on, Spider-Man. No Days Off.
No Days Off.
Yeah.
No Days Off, actually.
It's going to be the title of this video. Spider-Man No Days Off. No Days Off. He can't catch a break in this
It's
film.
very fitting because I also have had no days off for some time.
Yeah,
so I'm going to take several after this.
Yeah.
I'm actually running a little bit behind to make all
he's
my
going on
plans,
vacation genuinely right after this pod ends. So, we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.
I haven't packed yet. Wish me luck.
Friday. Bye.